Alrighty, Nebulous nerds, how we all doing today? We are tuning in for some more Nebulous Fleet Command. If you've never seen this game before, it is a game that I tend to play generally weekly. I enjoy playing with a couple of friends of mine, and we've kind of gravitated towards Wednesday, although occasionally I'll get the Saturday cast in for the various fight nights. We're going to be doing some public games today, although I've got a couple friends who might be dropping in or not, so we're going to see how things go. See some new people in the chat. Welcome to my stream and that. I am Nebulous. I am the Nebulous Fleet Command cat, yes. I'm NekoboyBlue, and we are doing some things. Another day, another stack on pillars. All right, we are on the test server right now, so we're going to go ahead and check out what is in this lobby. Let's see. Oop, we got a client version mismatch there. We're on the test server, so you can see we're version like 1.20 versus them on the version 1.19, which is live. We're going to hop into the public area official 6 here. Darks Coliseum is also currently running it, but I'm going to see if we'll have some people drop by. I had a couple people say that they were willing to hop in and play some show matches, so we're just going to hang out on Area 6 for the moment right now. As you might notice, my fleet is ridiculous. We're just going to, we'll just grab a random ANS one that I have kicking around. The Cappuccino fleet looks good. There it goes. By chance, is it a cat fight? There may be a cat fight later. I think Vivi might be streaming today. She raided me yesterday, and she's Catgirl who plays things today. You'll play some other games as well? Yeah, I played a little bit of everything in that. I've got a schedule I post on my Twitter. You can find the link in my About section. It's kind of a mixed bag of what I feel like. I've gravitated mostly towards sci-fi games I've found. I do like quite a few of them. It's kind of a mixed bag of what you'll experience here, so we're going to just see how things go, waiting for players to show up and whatnot, put out the call and that, and waiting for people to hop off work, get home, that kind of thing, as we just go ahead and get a lobby up. If we don't find any games on the test patch, we will hop back over to main branch. There was a couple people playing that I checked on earlier, so we'll just see where we go from there. As it currently stands, I do like playing on the test patch, as it's got a bunch of little changes implemented that aren't quite on live servers yet, such as fixes to the destroyer's tracking. What's your stream schedule? You can find it in my Twitter. It's in the About section of that, so check around there. Let me see if I can just really quick pull up. Oh, also, Bella Parker, thank you for the follow. Got to pull up my Twitter. So my last schedule. Just have to take a peek into this. Give y'all the easy link in that. There we go. This will be send a Steam link for the game. You can find the game on Steam for the store page. I'll post that link. I'll link my schedule here. Just follow you on Twitter. Can I get follow back? I only follow people that I really know or people who personally interest me. I try to avoid like getting a huge follower spam because I had another account that just got completely out of control and I had a whole bunch of spam on my dashboard and stuff that I just didn't recognize from. Anyways, here's my schedule for anyone who wants to see where I go with these things. As for a Steam link for the game, yes, I can also post a link to Nebulous if anyone wants to see that. I'll see if I can't find that on Steam. I think it might still be on sale. I know it was on sale during the like holidays and stuff. Yeah. Oh, I don't want the audio to play. Thank you. Yeah. Here's the Neb on Steam. There you go. So, yep. The game is $25 Canadian right now, or your regional equivalent. I would say that Neb is quite a good game to get into if you like doing a lot of editing. I'll show off some of the stuff as I'm waiting for a couple people to get back to me and we get our games going that. Can you ask? Sure. I mean, you're in chat, so why not? Nebulous is a game mostly about, like, I'd say, mostly about editing fleet and stuff. Yeah, ask your question away. I'm just going to ramble about the fleets and stuff. So I've got a fleet of like 10 Corvettes here. You can do a variety of different ships. Oop, I'll just delete one of these for argument's sake. But, oop, you want a big sippy? All right, you're getting a big sippy. So, artwork these days, 50. Look, okay. I'm going to say it right now. If you're going to come into my Twitch chat and try and shill your work, yes, I get it. You want to like do your artwork and stuff. Please do not shill in people's Twitch chat without permissions and stuff. It's very annoying to have to deal with as a streamer. I can appreciate you doing the work and making stuff for things, but I'm not interested in anything like that right now, so please just refrain from that. We're going to play some Nebulous and enjoy ourselves here, and I'll worry about that stuff off stream if I need it. Okay? Okay. Thank you. Anyways, back to the game. So, I just deleted a ship here. So, we can make a bunch of different ships in the game. We've got Sprinter Corvettes, you've got Rains-class frigates, Keystones, Vauxhalls, Oxfords, Solomons. These are all the Alliance ships. There's also the other faction, the OSP, which we will show off later. So, since we got a couple new people in the chat in this, I'm just showing through these right now for anyone who's just tuning in, waiting for the matches to start and whatnot. We got the Sprinter Corvette, which is kind of self-explanatory. It's a small little Corvette, very few armaments. I've got a fleet of 10 of them because this is a cap fleet trying to control the battle space and fill in any gaps that my heavier compatriots might not have. Got the Rains frigate, very versatile hull. A lot of different modules you can stick into this thing. Probably, honestly, the best ANS hull just because of how, like, dynamic you can make it. You've got 4 mounting points, which you can outfit with electronic warfare, missiles, guns, etc. So a lot of good stuff there. The Destroyer, which is one of the big winners on Test Patch right now. The Destroyer has a spinal mount. I'm actually just going to select one of these just to show it off. It's got a big spinal mount, which has the mighty beam cannon. Yes, you've got a big green beam, which if we go over here, is there nukes? There is not nukes. Every new player who tries to get the game asks, hey, is there going to be nukes? There has been mods that introduce nukes, and nukes in this game suck. They are just very unpleasant, and anyone who has played the game for a little bit understands why nukes are not going to be part of it. They are an interesting concept that everyone thinks of when you see Battlestar Galactica or other space game of that, but in terms of gameplay and balance and just overall fun, they are not. Because either they get instantly shot down and you've wasted a ton of points, or they end up completely wiping a ship for nothing, in which case everyone would just basically run a Corvette with nukes in it. Can you change the color of the laser? Not in the conventional game. It's always going to be the big green laser beam, but there is a couple mods out there that do funny things, such as when a ship power goes down, it plays caramel dancing lights in the screen here, so that's quite funny. The beams itself, they're just a straight green beam. Getting some intelligence about what your enemy is using can be important. The different colors of shells in this game mean that they're using different ammo. Yellow equates to AP rounds. Green is the high explosive. Red is typically RPF or a derivative of that. So you get a fun little bit of mix stuff there. It has a lot of technical depth to it, but it's also accessible enough that you can get into the game just by playing the first couple tutorials, understanding the basic UI and stuff. Gonna suggest a neon yellow laser. Yeah, you can go for the neon P-beam if you really want to, but again, that's going to be a mod that you'll have to have approved for other people. You can play this game single player as well against the bots. The bots are okay. I won't say that they're anything remarkable, making me completely sweat I was facing Alpha Star and StarCraft level or anything, but they are formidable enough that if you want to test out a fleet, you can load up a game with AI and just go from there. We've got a couple people in the lobby right now. We're gonna discard the fleet changes here. You can see a couple people showed up. Miscellaneous, nice to see you. How y'all doing in that? See the OSP team filling up. They've got ridiculous fleet points here because they've not selected a fleet yet. So we're just sitting on Canyon right now. I think we might want to, let's just check the help command because I don't really want to play Canyon right now. Vote skip map. There we go. Just got to vote for this. Democracy in action. Canyon is a map that is very large. It was, I think, one of the first 10-player maps added to the game. I don't personally prefer it. Silent Citadel. Silent Citadel's okay. You can go with that. It's okay to like Canyon. That I just find that gameplay-wise, Canyon takes a little too long, and it's a very, very big map. Even though it's gotten shrunken down a little bit, it just takes too long to get to a place. So, anyways, we're just waiting for enough people to show up. Typically, Nebulous is going to be an 8 versus 8. It's going to be an 8-player game, 4 versus 4, Alliance versus OSP. You can get some mix-up, some people will play the old Alliance versus Alliance mirror match, because Alliance was the first faction added to the game, and you get to that kind of original, sort of square-off matching. Since you have asymmetrical combat, it makes things very interesting. I do like games that do well-designed asymmetrical combat, where you have different tools to counter different things. It's more interesting than a mirror match, in my opinion, because sometimes you can get a case where you just have a very bland mirror match. It's oh, okay, I'm going to do the exact same counter against you, and we're just going to play the same matchup over and over again. What is the lore in this? Okay, there is lore that's still being written. It's, I'm not the biggest lore nerd in this game, but I do know a bit of it. So basically, you have the Shelter Alliance, who is a collection of various systems. They're kind of the, they're, as the name would imply, they're the formal military faction, and the OSP is the outlying systems that have kind of declared their independence and broken away from this, and it's kind of a civil war thing going on right now. There's not exactly a good or a bad faction. It's a nice way of doing it where it's there's reasons for each faction to be considered good, reasons for each faction to be considered bad. The lore is also a little bit tossed up in the air and moved around as things have to change and be adjusted to represent how they're going to do certain aspects of the game. For example, we're just playing the skirmish game mode right now. I think later this year or possibly early next year, we're going to get the conquest mode, which is sort of Total War style campaign mode, which is going to be very interesting when that finally unfolds and gets built into the game. Because you'll have a lot of other considerations than just your skirmish one-time fleet. You'll have to consider how you move your fleets around, where you want to position them, what composition you can get together, how you're going to deal with battle damage after a fight, how you're going to restock your fleets, how you're going to try and invade and take over territories, and then eventually the conquest mode ends and one side is declared victorious after a set amount of turns or whatever. So there's a lot of interesting depth that Neb has that you can dive into if you so desire, or you can treat it as I want to put together a fleet of spaceships and throw bullets at the enemy. It is something that is both accessible, but also has a lot of technical depth. That said, I will say that initially learning the game, if you just pick it up and hop into skirmish, you are going to have a bad time. Play the tutorial. It will do a good job of teaching you enough And then the Discord has multiple people on it who are very helpful. They will help you out figuring out how to build fleets, how to do various things. Stop trying to kick yourself, Tom. You can't do that. Yeah, it is a game that I've sunk many, many hours into, and I feel good about recommending to people. It's also a very small indie game. This is not like any like huge company. I think they have like maybe 5 people total in the dev team in that. Yeah. If you want to not do the tutorial and just hop in, you can do that. It will be interesting trying to learn the game. It's not exactly like just picking up, say, StarCraft or Warcraft, where things kind of explain themselves. You'll have to figure out the various different tools and how they work together and the holes. So you are rewarded for learning the game and understanding the mechanics and getting creative. I think the biggest thing that Neb does well is reward creativity. You will constantly be thinking, hey, I can improve something about my fleet. I can change around, like, say I decide I'm not going to use this much ammo. I'm going to drop the shells here, which then reduces the point cost of my fleet, so I can be more efficient about that. Let's say maybe I don't want a reinforced DC locker here. Maybe I want to go with a large locker because it gets me more restores and more repair teams. I can make that changeover, but I'm a little more fragile. Now I've got to deal with crew considerations. There's a whole bunch of different things you can do. Hey, Archivist, how you doing? We're just talking about Nebulous Fleet Command. It's a cool little spaceship builder game. We're just waiting for the match to get going. We've got a couple people in here. Archivist, I don't know if you've ever played Neb or not. It's a game that me and Vivi play sometime on Wednesdays, so we're just hanging out, chilling in the lobby, waiting for people to show up for the match and whatnot. We are on the public test branch because it has destroyer fixes, and destroyer fixes are good. Let's get poke a few people and see if we can get anything there. Are we? Checking through all the various Discords right now. Give me a second, chat, seeing if we have anyone else on there. Poking the public test server channel. We got a couple people leaving. We might have to hop over to main branch. Yeah. Okay, so we are going to take a little second then, because it seems normally you can get enough people together for a test branch match, but in this case we might have to hop over to main branch. So, all right, we are going to do that. So we will just pop out of the game real quick here. This should just pop up a thing there. All right. Ah, yes, my reminder to set to game temperature. So we're just going to real quickly switch over to the live patch. So if anyone wants to get into the game just now, it should be pretty easy to do. Yep. I set reminders for myself. I am very smart streamer, don't you know? This is the equivalent of sticking a post-it note on your like ring light saying, hey, yes, remember to turn me on so that I can actually, you know, capture your face. Because it turns out cameras don't really work that well in the dark. You know, if I was smart, I would actually... I've got a napkin asset. Okay, after stream, I'm going to edit it. I'm going to put a little sticky note on the backside of this thing so it looks like I've got a napkin on there. Hold me to that one, chat. All right, we've got the test server unloaded. We've got the live server reloaded. So we're going to hop over to that and change our little stream title. We're going to change it over to, was Nebulous Nonsense. I don't remember which Nebulous Nonsense I'm onto now. Let's just call this Nekulous Neb Day Nonsense. Yes, there we go. Nekulous Fleet Command. I am kept. So, we're going to hop into this now right and proper, see if we can't get a few things. I'm just going to message people who might have been showing up. Where to? Branch. For peoples. Alright, there we go. Poking the various folks and whatnot, so we'll just go through the emotions here. There we are. Game is loaded back up. We're going to find ourselves a lobby. Sometimes, if I poke people ahead of time, then I'm able to get a full lobby ready and waiting to go. You can see there's also modded lobbies, such as Operation Burning Lance, which is a very fun mod. This is the other thing, too. The game has quite a few mods with a lot of dedicated support to them. The game, I'd say, baseline is quite good, but some of the mods really push it far. Like, I think there's a Halo mod that's doing very well in development. Operation Burning Lance is kind of like the base game, but, like, expanded a little bit more. You've got 4 factions instead of just 2, and so they've kind of done like splinters off. So very interesting to see how that goes. We're going to look around, see if there's any official match. We can see there is some people who are still playing games. You got Killboard full up, Another Day, Another Stack, and Grimlord has apparently some in there. A couple of these just like small little locked skirmish games. Either way, I think we'll just hop into area official number 5. That's on Canyon, but we should be able to push past that. See if it will just let me vote skip this. I think this is the right command. Yep. Oh. We failed democracy. Apparently, even though you have 1 vote, you can't change it. Oh well. We'll just grab another one. Yep. There we go. Everyone hopping in now. Good to see the crew and that. Let's find ourselves a map to play on and go from there. Yeah. Nebulous Fleet Command, it is one of the things I look for in games, because I play a lot of MechWarrior Online, a lot of Nebulous Fleet Command, I've played Robocraft, various other games like that. I really enjoy games that allow you to customize and like cater to your playstyle, and games that reward you for being creative. Nebulous is a game that rewards you for being creative, in the sense that you spend a lot of your time thinking about what you're going to do in the fleet editor, testing that out in a couple of like test matches in the firing range, then going to like actual matches, testing it against proper players, refining your ideas. You're constantly improving yourself in the game. Your fleets are getting better, your skills are getting better, you're learning new things, discovering new tricks, figuring out new stuff, and the game is still in development, so you get new toys introduced every once in a while. In the latest patch, we had for a little while a test missile module called a kinetic. I forgot exactly what it was. It was like a kinetic impact device, which was essentially that's a missile that is a brick that you throw at someone, like just no explosive mass, so that it is just straight up a brick. It will basically destroy any component that it hits, but you only are able to hit one thing with it, because, I mean, it's a brick. You're pretty much just like putting a rocket booster on a sledgehammer and hitting somebody in the face with it. It is really funny to do. All right, we got a match of 8 people here or so. Miscellaneous coming up with the fleet there. All right, I think we'll go for something a little bit simpler. We got both the ANS and OSP factions along with a couple mods here. Gonna go for the classic Brothers build. Pretty good to have. Beamford and Sons, a Axford command cruiser with a beam on it, and then a couple supports there. I could go with the old Crit Cats, which is a bunch of railguns, very good at inflicting critical hits and debuffs upon the enemy ship. I think, actually, we're going to try out our triple Vauxhall fleet. Vauxhalls are these fun little fast light cruisers. They are very narrow from the front and are pretty agile. I will say that they suffer a little bit under like more sustained fire. They don't quite have the toughness to hold up against true proper ships of the line. But when you're able to use their mobility and agility to get yourself in favorable positions, they can do pretty nasty damage. Very good as a flanker ship. So, looking like we got ourselves a match up here on Mighty Canyon, so we're just going to ready up as the other team sorts themselves out and goes about business there. Have a little bit of fun on Canyon, as it were. That is a good point about the victory thing. Shoot. I don't know if we can actually change that. We're going to check the help list. There we go. So yeah, this is the other thing about Canyon. Canyon is a very big map. Big maps kind of favor the OSP faction, since they tend to bring more small ships like shuttles, which are able to very quickly cap points around the map. And just because they are so cheap, you can bring many of them. By default, you're limited to 10 ships in your fleet, just so that things don't get ridiculous and you get somebody bringing like 30, 100-point ships, which would be an incredible annoyance, because that's just so much stuff you have to deal with tracking around on the screen and loading and otherwise taxing systems with. But 10 ships is more than enough for most fleets. Some people take a cap fleet with a command ship of sorts, giving you an intel center so you can quickly update your team, and then a bunch of other little cap ships that can go around the map and contest points. I am not the best cap fleet player. I tend to not do very well with them, usually losing them to stupid ways, such as just kind of either blowing myself up or leaving them unmoving, which, well, a stationary target is generally a dead target. That said, we got Miscellaneous over here with our cap fleet. Iced Coffee's got, looks like they got interesting build. Okay. Anyways, we're loading into Canyon. Gonna be some fun. I'll show off a couple of the other fleets you can get. Again, the fleets that you pick for this, you're not required to play a particular fleet. It is nice to have, say, a missile player or a cap fleet or someone who uses mass drivers or 450, but you can get away with just playing the game your way and then filling in for your teammates. And it does encourage you also to coordinate with your teammates. Teamwork is overpowered, communication as well, and the game is generally pretty good. I would say that, like, I can probably count on one hand, like, the unpleasant experiences I've had with, like, a toxic or just otherwise annoying person. And then usually in, like, a week, they've moved on to another game or gotten banned or just otherwise been removed from the existence of Nebulous, which is just a wonderful thing. It is a nice community. There's, like, occasionally you'll be like, well, I just got completely clobbered this game because you went around the wrong corner and somebody was waiting for you with a trap there. But hey, that's just going to happen. It's like if you play, I don't know, a comparison would be like League of Legends and just like 5 people stacked up in your lane and suddenly ambushed you. You're like, well, I guess that happened. You kind of are upset because that happened, but like, hey, they committed to it. Funny didn't happen. There's also plenty of silly moments that both sides of the match will be able to laugh at. Like, you try and watch this like little sprinter Corvette run away from containers and just barely juke past it, and then the container goes around for another lap. It's just this like really funny game of keep away in that. Anyways, we were going to deploy. So I want to say about 8 kilometers away. We've got the mighty Astolfo leading our Vauxhalls here. Vauxhalls are canonically the most like, I don't know, they're like the LGBT hull of the game. And that's not like said in a bad way or anything. It's just the way it's kind of somehow ended up. I'm gonna deploy on this B point, I think, and we'll go from there. They just kind of ended up that way, and everyone collectively agreed on it, which is why you'll often see voxels flying trans colors, which is kind of funny. I don't know why it just happened that way, but everyone just universally agreed on it. It's like, yep, let's do these. So I named my 3 voxel fleet after particular femboys in existence, so power to them. Rock those miniskirts, boys. Anyways, we're going to go for the B point and then probably try and push towards the C or the A point in the middle, contesting them. Unlike the kind of standard map in the game, which is Pillars, which has 5 control points, this one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 control points. So you've got 7 points to cap, which means that if we were playing the 1,000-point mode, it would fill up very fast and most likely end in a cap victory before we actually really get into the like nitty-gritty of fighting and stuff. So we're just going to get into the battle space here. The plan is to cut through this little rock here onto the B point, hopefully avoiding any incoming fire that may be thrown at us through the form of mass drivers or containers or other long-range missiles. So we're going to make our way into the game now. We're just loading up here, waiting for everyone on our team to ready up. You can see the fleet prefixes here. You get up to 4 digits, kind of like the old gamer tags back in the days of Halo 3 and that. So you can get your gamer tag associated with your fleet. So in this case, I am NekoboyBlue, so my tag is Neko, because everyone called me Cat. Yeah. Miscellaneous with a misc, and then we just get our various other ones. By default, you'll see either the ANS or I believe it's OSPN for the default factions. This also gives you the customizability, as you can customize your ships. You can choose, well, you can't edit the hull exactly, like you can't change the dimensions and stuff. You can choose what goes in each mount, what goes in each compartment, what goes in each module slot, and change how the ship plays according to that. They all add different multipliers and modifiers and other things to your ship. A little bit of lag here as the particle effects kick in. Just going to order the ships to go like so. Going to set ourselves to loose formation. We have weapons set to free as we want to go pew pew on people. Actually going to lower the altitude a little bit here. This is the tactical viewpoint. So in this case, we're seeing everything in kind of this lime green. Is this, what'd you call this lime green? I guess it's more like an olive green. Anyways, we're also still on the Santa Patch mode. So we're seeing the map has a whole bunch of snow on it. Don't question why there's a whole bunch of snow in space. We just like to think that it's funny and it was festive. So hey, why not? One map, Caltrop, had Christmas lights, which I thought was hilarious. Anyways, we can see our fleet here, the Astolfo, the Krim, and the Felix moving in formation, going towards that B point. So in the tactical view, you can see the movement orders of all your other teammates and stuff. You can see where you're going to go. You'll see jamming cones used to interfere with electronic warfare sensors and stuff. Yeah, so there's a whole bunch of various different levels to the game, and you can be as advanced or as simple as you want. In this case, I've elected to go for a fairly simple fleet. I just have 3 of the same ship. They've got 5 guns apiece on them, turreted, so I can shoot to the left or right if I want to. I've got a little chaff box on the back, which is able to seduce incoming missile threats, potentially. No guarantee on that, as it will entirely depend on the enemy's seeker type, but hey, it's a pretty simple system. I've got enough chaff here to hopefully keep most of the threats from hitting me, so yeah. Little mini game though, and of figuring out like, what kind of missiles is the enemy going to throw at you, how are you going to counteract it. It's very interactive, going back and forth and deciding how you're going to do things, which makes for really good gameplay. Again, my point of games is that if a game does not have good gameplay, it is not a good game. Okay? You can have a good story, you can have good music, you can have anything else like that. If your gameplay is ass, then the game is bad. This game's gameplay is good. This is a good game. This is me rambling a little bit about Signalis, which I finished last night, which had a couple of very annoying moments in it. I want to recommend that game, but I just can't with the way it is. Anyways, we see a little 120 cruiser here. They've gone for the smaller guns, which fire more rapidly, but have just a little bit problems trying to knock out bigger ships. They have a golf ball jammer on the back. Yeah, that's a golf ball jammer, which jams command-guided missiles. So nice to see that. They've also got a blanket jammer for jamming radar. We're just going to be moving our way forth here. I'm going to set the thrusters to flank speed now that we have our nose towards the point, respectively. This will increase our thrust power a little bit going forward, but more importantly, it increases our maximum speed by 50%, so we'll be able to get onto that point quicker. See our fleet moving in formation here, trying to keep pace with each other. They're about 300 meters apart. If you're within, I think it's 250 meters, your sensor signature goes up a whole bunch. You can see our sensor signature here, shown by the meters cubed. Sorry, no, the meters squared, not the meters cubed. So in this case, we have a radar drive, which increases our radar signature by 25%, but it gives us a huge acceleration boost, so we're able to do what's called jink, which is when you're rapidly accelerating and decelerating to throw off enemies' aim. Yeah. Fun little stuff there. I try and explain Neb to anyone who's new to the channel, because Neb is a game that, again, it has a lot of depth, and it can be a little bit hard to get into. ArtStation Nebulous Sci-Fi Concept 6. Why does this sound like a, this sounds like an AI prompt, you know? Like, you're trying to, like, spoon-feed an AI things like, okay, I want exactly this stuff. I will tell you to generate this image from you, please. Thank you. And then it gives you something totally cursed with way too many hands. I think AI art is interesting, but I'd say that it and human art are very different, and the only people who are really saying they're the same are the guys trying to sell NFTs who are basically broke right now. I'm so glad that the NFT thing finally, like, absolutely crashed and burned, because, wow, were the NFT bros just... NFT bros, like, just annoying. Answering the important questions here.
We're ready whenever you are.
Figured given thing. Alright, so we can see the enemy has sent some ships down here. Probably a fleet of shuttles or tugs, given the speed. We have one of our cap ships going down here. We can see that there is actual ships here as they've been locked on by a targeting radar. So we should see some bullets start flying here now. Yep, you can see the first couple shots of the game coming out now. High explosive green rounds slamming into our unfortunate cap ship. You can see it quickly getting the orders to change location. Firing off a torpedo now, I believe. Yep, Torp's out in the water, so that's going to be interesting to see what happens. Missiles away as well. Rockets flying out into space. So this is the first little skirmish that we're seeing go off here. We're going to see if this shuttle will live or not. Those, ooh, that's nasty hits and they're critical too. So torpedoes out in the water. There's a smack right into that shuttle. Second smack, boom. Yep, I don't expect that thing to be living very long. In fact, that is the magic smoke of death. It is out of here. Killed. So, unfortunately, they sent 4 ships to the 1, but hey, that's a 1-for-1 trade. It's technically a slight disadvantage for us because the shuttles are a little bit cheaper on average than the corvettes tend to be. But at the same time, we have a frigate over here trying to do its punch-down roll. It's got a jammer and a bullseye fire control radar locking on, trying to use that size 2 missile mount, throwing out some more missiles on them. Hybrid's doing devastating damage against this ship. I'm doing a little live commentary right now while I can because I'm not currently in a fight. I'm going to just head back to our fleet and check. We have capped our point now, so we're going to be moving up here. We see that there is a target here, so we're going to assume that that is a hostile and just move up to engage. I'm going to give them a vertical order like so. I'm also going to adjust my positioning a little bit, doing like this. Here we go. Move over. It needs to be about 300 meters, give or take, to the left, and you to the right. Or, yeah, the other way. That works. So, don't know what that was, but we're going to find out any second now. The fight on the bottom is still going on. You're seeing a bunch more ships down here. That's going to reactor cook off in like 5 seconds or so, I think. Maybe that's a drive fire, actually. We're going to see. Oh, yep, okay, that was just a fuel line fire, so nice little purple magical smoke going off as the fuel lines all across the ship detonate and explode. If you get a reactor or a drive set super critical, then the ship goes explodey and basically turns into a miniature sun for like about, I don't know, 2 or 3 kilometers. It will typically not knock out like every ship around it, but it will strip off the armor most times. If they have very low armor, like if a shuttle is right like next to a drive explosion, it's probably going to get knocked out, but the damage is pretty minimal. The biggest thing is that it strips off the armor, which is very important when you have ships like cargo feeders, which have a really thick armor, or battleships. So we can see a ELINT track here. This means that there's an enemy radar somewhere out there, because we have on one of our ships a special module called a Pinard. Take a look here. You can see it. This is the Pinard detection module, which is showing, oop, we have company. What do we have here? Hello. Hello, you. We're going to engage fire. Oop, fire the point defense. See them trying desperately to hit us here, but with the ample amounts of point defense we have available, we shouldn't take any hits here. Nah, no sweat, nothing. So that is most of the threat dealt with, so we're just going to move our ships a little bit up and off. We have ordered them now to fire the RPF rounds. This thing is getting absolutely peppered by airburst rounds. Technically, there's no air in space, but hey, you get the idea. Airburst, radio proximity fuse, pop, 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 pop. That is, I think it's about 180 points down the drain, give or take. I think these are like 170 or 180 points. I can't remember exactly, but yeah, this thing's just getting completely shredded now. We're going to switch over to high explosive rounds since it is a easy target. Pop, pop. Next, we're going to set our heading towards incoming fire that we're expecting to see and adjust ourselves once again, moving downwards since there is enemies about this way, and I don't know what class they are. Ooh, we see that they have guns. Okay. I think that might be at a Cello cruiser just with the locations. Yep. Time to engage this. I think they're just talking about my ship names there. So we have a pair of Acello command cruisers. You can see them marked now indicating 5195. So I'm going to call this out to my team and then quickly dive, and get my heading set. I did not preset my heading, so now I'm going to get get a bunch of shots into my broadside, which is very unfortunate. We want to quickly adjust our position so that we get out of their line of fire. I might be able to get a lock on one of them. I can. All right. We do not have gun range, but we can provide lock for our teammates. And since we are moving at a high speed at long range, they are not likely to get a whole bunch of their shots to hit us. Just going to quickly adjust our heading once again here. Well, lead indication and whatnot. All right, we have killed that target, so we're going to cease fire so we don't overkill it. Life pods ejecting and whatnot, and the magical smoke coming out indicating such. Getting into a head-on fight against these is not what I'm looking for. However, the heavy command cruiser that we have with us is definitely one to pick this fight. It's aligning itself, facing towards them, front towards the enemy, and all that. We're going to quickly maneuver ourselves back behind these rocks. We're going to try for a flanking route onto them, trying to get their broadside as they engage into these ships here. So we'll just dip ourselves back down. We're going to quickly lose track of us so we can turn off our flanking speed. And then we will move over like so. We'll just, yep, there we are. Something still has a lock on us somewhere. I'm not sure where. I'm going to burn through real quick, see if we can spot it. I'm going to assume that it's just one of the Ocellos over there, the heavy command cruiser for the OSP faction that has a lock. Yep, seems to be the case. So we're currently behind on points ever so slightly, and the enemy has a slight point lead, but we can get that back pretty fast. We can see down below a bunch of exchanges have happened here. So this ship has been evacuated. We're going to signal it as killed. There we are. This means that the pods have been ejected. It is not able to be commanded once again this battle, and it is functionally dead. Now, we just need to maneuver our way around like so. Oop. So that is one downside here. You can see that, ooh, ouch. Unfortunately, we did overkill that shuttle, and I was not paying attention. This is the drive detonation I was talking about. Notice our ship's now black and charbroiled. This means that the armor is just basically non-existent. So I have to play very carefully with this one and make sure that I don't let it take a whole bunch of fire, as its armor just doesn't work anymore. The Vauxhall's armor is mainly relying on the slanted angle to bounce a bunch of shells, since, of course, slanted armor is more efficient than just flat plates. Typically, anyways. There's a couple cases where armor slanting doesn't matter. I think for like beach shells it doesn't matter, but I don't believe there's any of those in the game currently. We're going to adjust our heading and see if we can spot where those Ocellos went. They probably dipped down as well. I think some missiles going down below here. Rockets even. All right. So the A point is currently, you see the ship named Sacrifice here, as this is the sacrificial A capper. We've got another one going in here. A shuttle far down below that is still alive. We're going to be looking for various threats, expecting there to be something about this area since they did cap the point, and we're going to have to work from there. Trying to take a cursory look of the battle space and see what is happening. I don't know exactly where my enemy is, which is concerning, as I would like to see them before they see me. We're going to see, so we've got a nice little pairing here. So the Axford Heavy Command Cruiser here has a lot of firepower and stuff, but there's only so much you can fit into a ship. So to help it deal with smaller targets, it has a little railgun destroyer alongside it. It's got the electronic warfare package, some powerful anti-missile tools. It's got a jammer device. Yeah, basically just like the whole kit that you can't fit onto the ship baseline. So it's good to have your cruisers defended by something like a frigate, a destroyer, a light cruiser, or something else acting as a destroyer screen. So we're going to see the Ocello here, the Rose Soul. I think that's one of the default pairings. Never mind, we have the Conch as well. I don't believe that's a default name, so... Anyways, the Rose Soul is going to be over here, and we are going to be moving into engage range. So, adjust our positions again accordingly, making ourselves more or less in formation. There we are, about 300 meter difference. We're going to be trying to catch this thing. Actually, we can maybe catch the Conch here. Yes, the Conch is moving very forward aggressively. It's a question now of which one we're going to hit. I think we're actually going to be better off pushing down here and then going towards the C point as our objective. So we're going to preemptively lock onto you, load AP rounds since they do have a bit of armor, and we'll go from there. There we are. We're expecting to be head on to them as we come around the corner here. In fact, we might actually be a little bit off. Okay, noted. We're going to take the elevation move then, moving up and then down. So the Conch is over here doing a very aggressive charge. We could possibly catch the Conch in a broadside attack, which I kind of like the idea of, so let's do that. We'll adjust our heading accordingly, loading HE shells, since this should be on the side. See them trying to keep both of these jammed, so we're going to quickly maneuver ourselves like so. We're going to keep our nose pointed towards the Rose Soul, assuming that the Conch is going to be trying to recklessly charge into the ship here, the fighter. Never mind, it's the Providence of Steel. So you can see them exchanging shot, heavy cruisers slugging it out with their 450 rounds. We're going to be moving our way up above the rock any second now. We just need to do so. Just The Rose Soul trying to cut us off, and we're just going to instead use our 3 dimensions and go over the rock here, trying to keep it out of our sight and out of mind. We have our guns aligned onto target, pre-aimed, preloaded, all rounds ready to go, just bearing onto target, waiting for them to peek over this. Unfortunately, the snowdrift is kind of in the way, but that'll be fine. She'll be alright. Go over the rock like this, and that should keep the Rose Soul kind of out of our way. We'll adjust our heading accordingly. Hoppa. This is going to be interesting as we are going to cut across here, and the Rose Soul is going to try and sneak up on us. They're probably expecting the A point to be capped, which they are. So in this case, you're seeing, yep, a couple of little warships around here as well. That's another thing we'll have to consider. Okay. So we're just going to collapse on what targets we can. Going over the rock here should be pretty fast. And then down again into this little gully.
Underway.
We are. Are they? Damn. They've just gone onto the other side of this rock, so unfortunately we don't have angle on them. In that case, then, we're going to quickly change our heading and instead jump onto the Rose Soul from behind. Ocellos are very tough from the front, but in this case, we can get a sick, nasty flank on it, which we will, because they haven't seen us yet. Ooh, there's another Ocello over there, but luckily there's a rock between us. We are just barely threading the needle, avoiding the enemy right now, so we're being pretty sneaky about this, having successfully evaded them. We're going to hit them from behind, and it's going to be good. Yeah, we're going to move around here, because this Ocello wants to go for the A point, and we're not going to let it. Hello, boys. We're back. An order locks on target with whatever we got. I don't think I have lock radars on the other ones. Yep, you can see us hitting the broadside now as the Ocello is suddenly having a very bad day since we have just come up behind it and are going to give it some love. Its guns are only forward-facing. As you can see, it's now desperately trying to turn around. We're just going to get behind this thing and give it a whole bunch of love in the backside, as if we can possibly not get the thrusters and drives, rendering it immobilized. Yeah, surprise, surprise. Whee! Going to quickly dive our altitude, like so. Trying to keep ourselves in the rearward-facing arc, moving at speed. There we are. You can see... Oop. Camera, please. Thank you. See it desperately trying to turn and face us and struggling as our ships are now out of the line of fire there, so we're going to lower our speed, not needing to burn our flank thrusters. We've already cooked our thrusters pretty good, so we don't want to do that anymore. Radar drives do increase your chances of getting thruster damage, so that is a bit of a problem you have to consider. There's that other Ocello over here, which might come help, but we are just going to... we're just going to deal with it for right now. We'll get moving over this way, and I'm going to preemptively set my heading, expecting that to be the threat. Since I'm pretty sure I can just immobilize this one if I just keep my motion going like so. I want to continue my dive to be right behind it since it is trying to move on me. Yep. While it is managing to lock me, we have gotten really good damage into it right now, just absolutely hammering the backside, which is where the drives and reactors are, and with any luck, we're going to punch right through and kill stuff. I'm going to switch over to AP rounds to try and get some focus damage into it here. It is trying to get an angle on us. We are not going to have that. Just dive, 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 dive. Maximum speed. Go, 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 go. Bam, 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 bam. In this case, AP rounds punching easily through their armor, just trying to knock out some of the modules for focused fire damage. You can see multiple systems here smoking, indicating that they are in fact knocked out. Seems to be rolling, trying to hit us, and the guns jittering around like such. Fortunately, the guns have quite a bit of health, but I believe we've hit the magazine, as it has not managed to get a shot off yet. We're going to continue our dive like so. Trying to keep ourselves in this thing's rear-facing arc. The turret can technically traverse around the bottom, but we are getting just really good hits into the backside of it. Yes, the drives are knocked out, meaning that this thing is immobilized, so we can cancel our flank maneuvering now, as we are not needing to do so. Just going to keep our engines intact. We'll continue our dive, going towards the C point, since the A cap is, I believe... Oh, there is a shuttle on the A point. Okay. We can either go for the C push, or we can contest the A point. There's already another capper going for the A, so I think that we are going to make our move towards C, since that is what we need to be doing right now. See, a whole bunch of shots landing into this thing. I'm going to switch most of my shots to HE rounds, as they do a little more damage, but I'm also going to keep some of my ship firing AP, just to get that mixture. When I drop an enemy component to 0 hit points, then it should be able to be knocked out, when it is reinforced specifically. Reinforced and mechanic meaning you can't get your modules one shot. But in this case, we have just rolled up on this thing, a complete flank drive-by maneuver, just completely clobbering it. We have almost double the points in terms of fleet effectiveness. I'm expecting this to be about 1,500 points to our 3,000 in our fleet. So we're just living our best life here, chewing this thing apart. Now, it is a bit annoying to try and knock out a ship like this with the 250 rounds, as we don't quite have the punching power we need. There's the trouble we were expecting. So trouble coming from above. Hi. Hello, you. We're going to fire high explosive rounds at you. Lock on and fire. Bam, 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 bam. Load HE rounds. Fire, fire, fire. We'll tell our command ship to fire a bit of RPF as well, since that is... we want to pepper the systems here and not get ourselves jammed, so... We need to maneuver quickly. We'll activate our flanking speed bonus, so we will dive. We want to be bow towards the enemy, and in this case, we are unfortunately facing the wrong direction. There's an Ocello as well coming over the hill. We knew that the enemy was going to rotate on us, but we'll just trim out their escorts real quick and then see if we can't get under this rock. So, going to use the map inversion tool here to find a way out of this little problematic area and go from there. Remember, the enemy gate is down. So, this ship here taking a whole bunch of damage. We're going to switch over everyone to HE, switch back to HE RPF. HE RPF, there we are. Then our command ship will be firing just HE. There we are. Switch out the ammo types a little bit. There we are. Swap our heading downwards low. Change our angling slightly. Just get ourselves out of the line of fire of the big incoming shots. You can see some of our ships taking a bit of internal damage here as various systems are getting hit, but we're still keeping everything operational more or less. Bam, 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 bam on the tug. Tugs are simultaneously easier and harder to kill than you might think. They're kind of the cross between like a corvette and a frigate for the OSB side. So in this case, it's looking pretty... Okay, we're going to order the ceasefire here because that ship is in fact dead. We can hear the tone. Now, the bull audited mute is out of the way. Now, with us over here, we are able to go towards the C point, although we do have a capper already going that way. We should be able to get this shuttle here. The heck? Oh, there's a rocket shuttle right there. Oh, God. Hi. Everyone fire, fire, fire. Oh, crap. I didn't realize there was a rocket shuttle. Oh, this is going to hurt. Okay, fire the point defense. Fire everything. Pew, 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 pew. See them trying to shoot at us as our point defense turrets there. 200mm rounds ripping into this thing. So we're just going for a punch down roll. They're going to roll around the corner any second now. We're just firing into this thing point blank range. I don't think it has many rockets left as we're just peppering it with every shot that we've got. Bam, 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 bam. I'm going to adjust my heading to face a little bit this way towards the Ocello heading into our face. Watching now, rocket shuttle engines have been knocked out. This thing should not live much longer. I can't actually see if it is space oiled or not. Maybe I can hear. You can sometimes hear... Yep, okay, it has been knocked out, so we're going to order ceasefire as that is the smoke cloud of death indicating that the ship is in fact dotted. We're going to then lock onto the audited mute, switch over to AP rounds, and get ourselves ready for some fun. Order the ship to just do a little bit of a jank maneuvering around the C point here, as we're expecting them to be coming right around this corner. We are, again, a little behind on points, but we're making it happen. We see a couple, nasty torpedoes coming out here, smacking into the side. This thing is bow tanking us, but it has its guns facing towards the enemy. So this means that my friendly fleet here has a great opportunity to inflict some serious damage, as we've got we've got two heavy cruisers already engaging, and then a bunch of destroyers moving in now. We get these beam destroyers trying to get within that 6 kilometers that they need to cook this thing. So let's go ahead and just start unloading our payload into this thing. Just bam, 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 bam. There is a ship over here, which I think we will be able to RPF down. I'm going to order the lock onto that. We have RPF rounds, which the 450mm guns do not. So this makes us very effective against light targets, such as that shuttle. So we're just going to pepper that with everything we got, trying to knock it out. We're playing the cleanup duty, essentially. Bam, 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 bam. In this case, they're moving behind the rock, so we won't be able to hit them. Switch over back to AP and keep moving. Taking fire from somewhere else. There's another shuttle around, so we'll just have to deal with that. Where's that other fire coming from, actually? Oh, from behind. There's a cargo feeder here. Okay. We can take on a cargo feeder, but we will just have to deal with the immediate threat in front of us first. I don't think that this thing is going to live long, given the amount of firepower that it is getting hammered by, so we can start preemptively aiming towards that cargo feeder, since I expect it to have some threats to us. 100mm rounds are suddenly very scary, as our ships just simply do not have armor, so even the tiniest munition is able to chew us apart very quickly. The Ocello here just getting completely smacked. I can tell roughly by the shape and profile that my AP rounds are managing to get through. I would like to fire HE, although unfortunately I don't seem to have... Ooh, what the heck? Oh, they had a rocket strike. Okay. Ooh, good hit into that cargo feeder here. So yeah, it has rockets and 250 guns on it. A little bit of point defense that was not enough. Ooh, its power is out. Is that thing just hard dead? That thing might just be hard dead. We're just going to finish this thing off with a good old volley of AP rounds. Lock target. All right, we have secured the C point, and we're going to deny them the cap. Yes, excellent. We can see that the Ocello here, thanks to the combined firepower of our various fleets, has now bitten the dust. We'll watch as all the life pods are starting to eject. And we're going to start firing onto the cargo feeder that was handily disabled. Thank you to my teammates for giving very good torpedo strikes and stuff. They are just providing a wonderful amount of support to us. Again, teamwork is overpowered. We can see various other cap ships coming in here to secure the point. Let's see, can we pepper this thing enough to knock it out? You hear the chatter and the various alarms playing. You'll hear a big alarm inside of an enemy ship when you've properly knocked it out. That means everyone is told to abandon ship, and in 30 seconds, they will get to their life pods and eject. That is the sound now. Yep, there's the alert sound, so we're going to order it has been killed, and then ceasefire, since we don't want to waste ammo.
Underway.
Ammo is cheap, but at the same time, not something you want to be wasting. So, now that we have secured the C point, and we have gotten ourselves a bit of a cap lead, we need to play catch-up in the games, because the enemy still has quite a few points. We might be able to secure the D point over here. I'm not sure where the Lark is. Oh, the Lark is trying to engage bulk raiders above. Well, there's a good chance we can go ahead and pick that fight, but it looks like the fleets are already triangulating them, so we shouldn't have to worry about that. There is that shuttle still that we have to deal with. So let's see if we can't do something about that. Light cruisers are very good at cleanup duty, so we'll have to just look around the map for small little ships like these various clippers that are trying to hold points. We will have to get somebody onto the G point, but it looks like we've already got a cap ship going there. So we're just going to find out where there's nobody currently going. I'm going to ask Lark. You send Luna G. I'm going to ask this in the team chat. Try and coordinate myself as best I can. We need to be facing towards where the enemy would most likely be, which in this case, the Bull Sow, I believe it is, tugboat we see there. Just going to expect them to be on the A point, moving up and about around the battle space. We see that they have a couple bulk freighters still left up here, but the combined firepower that they're currently eating from, I think it's, not sure which fleet's there. Apparently it's 120s only. You say herd. Well, that's our cue then, chat. We have a threat that we can engage, so we're going to order our fleet to move over like so. We're going to set our heading towards the control point there using the heading tool, like so. And then we're going to set the order to burn flank thrusters. Why? Because we need to get there quick, because there is 500 points till the enemy wins, and we need to make up that difference. We may have a point lead right now, or a cap lead right now, but I'm going to say I'm on my way. You can see here the Bull Sow currently barely hanging on here as it's getting peppered by, I believe it's a beam ship. Yep, there's the mighty green beam carving across the battle space and burning into that tugboat. Tugs have like 5 centimeters of armor, and I think a beam's armor penetration is like 120 centimeters, falling off to like half that at max range. So yeah, beams, very good stuff. I'm actually surprised that like on the live servers, this is as accurate as it is, because normally the beam gunners are very drunk. See the OSP team throwing in the towel there. Most of their fleets kind of getting clobbered. A couple of them, I mean, hey, respect to them. They put up a good fight in that. You can just recognize when they are going to be beaten, as we have earned ourselves a fairly decisive advantage. And with the A point going mostly secured in our hands in a few minutes here, it's going to be the game set match. We'll drop them a GG as we try and look for another little bit of a fight. I believe this is one of the monitors we were talking about. We had just seen one earlier, which was the big armored brick of a ship that we put a couple rounds into and then heard the alarms on. I believe we can just pop up here. Yes.
We're on the way.
There we are. See it taking a couple hits. Yep, there's a monitor mark. You see small shots firing in here. 120 mil does not actually have enough armor penetration to get through a monitor by default. They need to pepper it with a bunch of other weaponry to wear down the armor plating, and then eventually they can get through. But in our case, we are firing 250 millimeter rounds, which are noticeably bigger, so should be able to punch through that armor with relative ease once we get over this rise. I do admit the snow is a little bit annoying in the tactical view. I kind of wish it wasn't there, as it does make it kind of hard to see where the rocks are underneath. But hey, that's a seasonal thing that's going away in the next patch, so nice to see. Enjoy the little silliness while it lasts. All right, the Mare Chrisum. I'm just going to call it the Mare. We're going to go over and beat a dead horse. We'll order our ships to fly up high and then fly down low. Somewhere along that line. There we are. That looks roughly where we want to go. Our lock is acquired. Our aim is pre-selected. Our ships are fairly charred, but hey, we're going to make it work. Make it happen, Captain. Just coming over the rise now. I'm going to start preemptively aiming lower in the nose because I want to bow tank this thing as I go by. Bow tanking is the art of keeping your heading towards the enemy ships. You can see one of our ships pulling a little bit ahead because we have the formation set to loose, so they're not going to care too much about the exact formation positioning. In this case, we also have thruster power being degraded since a bunch of our engines have been burned down, unfortunately. I'm going to restore one of these lockers I didn't realize was knocked out. Not to say that I have been not paying attention or anything, but I have been looking at other things than, my DC boards. DC being the ship's effective health. You don't have a health bar in this game in conventional sense. You have the various modules across your ship that you can then restore and fix and keep repaired. the various states of their health shown in the colors accordingly. Here we see the Kurga feeder trying to desperately take a couple shots here and also evade as we are ripping 120 rounds into it. Or sorry, 250 rounds into it. It was eating 120 earlier, which wasn't doing much, but now we're starting to see holes getting punched all throughout the armor. It does have the benefit of slanted armor, so this thing, if anyone's played War Thunder or World of Tanks, is like a Tiger tank that's on a 30-degree tilt. So very thick armor, but at the same time, 250 AP can punch through most things. I say most things because there's still some armors that can't quite make it through. See the last little hurrah being given here. Hear the alarm sounding on it, so we're going to cease fire and order it has been killed. There we are. Oh, apparently Zone F has been contested. I swore we marked that as killed. I'm going to go ahead and do that. Oh. Alrighty, chat. We are just going to make our way over to the D point then, I believe. And we'll just clear our heading, let our ships fly as they choose. That should be enough for us to get the cap. There's something on the F point, which I believe is up top here, yes. And that will be the game as the bulk freighter finally throws in the towel. So, good game to the OSP. They had a decisive cap lead on us, but we were able to bring it back, winning some good gunfights and doing some good plays. I'd like to shout out to my teammates who did very well, providing me with the needed support, as I was in a bit of a pickle there when the Acellos started coming around the corner on me. So, good show. We see the various fleet breakdowns in the post-game screen here. We're going to take a look, see where we were at. We got a handy 10,000 damage or so across our ships here, so very well done for 250 fleets anyways. I tend to typically get my ass kicked in these because I am unfortunately not typically patient or good enough at my maneuvering to put my light cruisers into the right place. I'm a bit more of an enthusiast for the heavy cruisers since they are very fun to slug out and just constantly be under fire and tanking a whole bunch of stuff. You feel very much like you are the decisive front line of the fleet, so we're going to go ahead and take a little 3-minute ad break here so that people don't get pre-rolls and whatnot, and so I can grab myself something to eat and drink. Yeah, we will be back in 3 minutes. I will see you then, chat. Yeah. Alrighty, chat boys and girls, we are back in the saddle, queuing up another game. We just had people carry over from the last match as we hop back into the lobby. So we're doing OSP Team 1 by the looks of it, so let's go ahead and get that in. A bunch of different fleets here I could play. I do enjoy playing heavier fleet, so we're going to do that first here. Show off the fleet to your team. You can kind of coordinate what you want to do here. So in this case, we got a bit of a stack with a bunch of us having a sort of higher ranks. The ranking going from blue, then white, then the gold ranks. So in this case, we see there's also a rear admiral on the enemy team. So Cosmic Eradicator, putting in the numbers and hours in that. So we're playing OSP Team 1, which is truly an illegal build. Yes, just seeing a whole bunch of silliness here. A lot of these kind of mixed bag fleets. I believe I have a fleet similar to this one. No, actually, this is missiles. Not what I thought it was, but yeah. Anyways. Going on Broken Borderline, which is kind of a cool new map. In this case, it's the large version allowing for 10 players. It's very interesting because it looks like a kind of a rodent skull, but floating in space. So, big fan of it. It's a very unusual, unique kind of environment. Because normally you're playing around asteroids or kind of like in a nebula cloud space with like a few rocks and ice crystals and stuff. But yeah, in this case, big space skeleton because it's cool. Yeah. Let's say we can shuffle teams if needed here. As when people come into a game and they see that one team is like a full made stack, that they typically are like, oh, this is just gonna be a one-sided affair. And one-sided games are not fun. It's fun when you're matched up with people that you're fairly even to, like stack versus stack, where you can work your angles with your teammates, coordinate, and then overcome the enemy because you both are equally matched, and then you've earned your victory by doing something smarter or better or just otherwise finding a way to get an edge over your bonus. That feels really good. Getting a team full of blue people here where it's oh, you're just starting the game out, trying your fleets, still learning the game. If you're just doing newbie stomping, that's boring. Nah, don't do that. So, we might have to shuffle in it. Big sippy. Anyways, we're going to be waiting for 2 more people, I believe, to load into this. I did not realize that Broken Bloodline was actually added onto the official servers. I thought that this was just on custom games still, but I'm glad that they added it because it's a very fun map. I think Tombstones is also on rotation. Let's see. Tombstones is a map I enjoy as well. So list maps, we have Broken Bones wide. Oh, interesting. Got Broken Bloodline small and large variants, so there's probably 8 and then 10 player. Nice. Honeycomb, Stellar, Tumbleweed. Okay, they do have Tombstones. I like Tombstones. Very good map. Broken Bones. Okay. I'm not sure if I've played Broken Bones. Kind of forget what that one looks like, but there is a modding scene that does maps for this game, and I think they're really interesting when they get some specific custom ones. One of the maps that was my favorite back when I played a bunch of other games besides just the sci-fi stuff that I'm apparently playing that. Oh, hey, Kristic, Meowdy Commander. GG in beating Nergi. Yeah, I beat, was it Nergi? I beat a, one powerful Elder Dragon monster thing in Monster Hunter earlier today, which I was pretty happy about, so. Why is your ready button not working? Mixed factions. There you go. Nergigante. Yes, that's the one. Thank you. I'll be honest, I was calling him Nerd Gigantus earlier because I couldn't remember what his name was. Yeah, I beat Nerd Gigantus, the big dragon. So, blue players loading up stuff here, so we're gonna see if we can get ourselves another good match in here or so. I think I've got 1 or 2, or at least time for that. I'll probably pass you off into Vivi's stream. She starts up around 7 or so. I kind of take up the slot because people wanted Nebulous stuff on Wednesday, and she had to push back her schedule, so. We'll drop in together for a stream, I would hope, if she can make it. And then I'm probably going to have to go around 8 o'clock Eastern or so, as I might have Dungeons & Dragons tonight and that, so. Ended up with OSP Team 1. Yes, everyone is always surprised. It tends to be ANS Team 1, OSP Team 2. Just changing that around can change the dynamics on a lot of maps, so it's fun to see it mixed up like that. Because sometimes you'll figure out a certain angle you want to push on a map as the ANS side, and then you'll try playing that as OSP. It's oh, this dynamic's very different. Interesting. So, I like seeing that. I'm gonna ask for the classic ANS versus OSP. If you go for faction mirror matchups, then you have to change a lot of your systems around because each faction has its own unique tools and assets and such. So if you wanted to, say, play ANS versus ANS, you're going to detect your point defense against hybrid missiles instead of just the standard type of missiles that the OSP has. So, OSP versus OSP, that's container hell. All right. See, we've got our fleets here. Very wide selection of ships here. So a lot of people favoring going for the Monitor, which had recently gotten the buffs to its armor, going from 40 centimeters to 48 centimeters, making it very resistant against pretty much like everything that's not armor-piercing rounds. And even then, armor-piercing rounds that are not, well, basically the 120 mil armor-piercing rounds, they just don't do anything to it. They just glance right off, even on the flat surface. It's like 48 centimeters of armor versus 45 centimeters of piercing. So, boing, no damage. But that said, the monitor that after the rework and some of the new modules have been added is really, really good. But at the same time, because it's really good and it's the new toy on the block, a lot of people are teching their fleets to counter against it, kind of the expected one. Me, personally, I'm enjoying the bulk freighters with the new modules they added. Namely, if we'll take a quick look here while they're setting up their fleets and stuff. We'll look at the end. They were roommates here. We got the Damage Control Complex, which is a combination of a Damage Control Central, which buffs our repair teams, and a Reinforced Locker, which provides us with repair teams and a Restore. So Damage Control Complex, you can see that it would be very expensive adding a second one, so we're not doing that. But the first one is just 80 points, 600 health. I think that's the highest health module in the game, besides maybe one of the drives, which is very... Yeah, okay, the drives are a little higher health, but that's like the highest health compartment in the game. So this thing can take a absolute punishment. You see, it's got high damage threshold as well, so even when it's like reduced to 0 health, they have to deal 40 damage or more to actually gray it out and make it inoperable. As long as it's operational, we get repair team move speed, repair speed, and the maximum repair goes up so you can fix your components better. That means that it's the repair level below like the lowest amount of health that the component has. So let's say something gets knocked down to like 50% health. You can then bump it up to, say, 60% by default, which is 10. But with the extra 5% on top, now we can take it to 65. So we get a little extra health. Makes us better at zombieing, which is when you're trying to keep your ship barely alive, but, well, most of your stuff is knocked out. It's the kind of, it won't die, it's too horrible, the undead, blah. So, no, I don't think we need 1,500 points on this. This is going to be interesting. I have gotten completely floored by blue players before. Just because your rank is not like, top level rear admiral and stuff, it does not mean that you are incapable of throwing hands. I know plenty of people who have gotten very good fleets given to them and practiced with them a bunch. And even though their rank is low because they only play occasionally, they know the tricks of the trade and they know how to bring pain. So we're going to see how this will go. Yeah. Also, the starter fleets are quite respectable. I'm betting this is Task Force Oak, just looking at the text here. So you just see T, F, and then Oak. Task Force Oak is a starter fleet, which is a pair of Axford heavy cruisers, and honestly, they're respectable. It's a good fleet, or at least good enough for a new player. I have my own personal tweaks to it. I prefer bow tanking with my Axfords rather than giving the broadside for all of the gun barrels to come to bear, but hey. If you know how to play the game just a little bit and you want to get started, starter fleets are a great way of messing around until you decide on what you want. And even then, you can copy a starter fleet and edit it to your heart's content, figuring out what components you want to keep, what ones you want to ditch, and just how you want to play it from there. In this case, I am providing the heavy, high-caliber fire support to my team, so it's my job to try and hunt down any of the big threats that the ANS might bring, such as battleships or heavy cruisers. Yes, there are battleships in-game. I am opinionated about battleships. Personally, I think battleships, much in the way they are in real life, are kind of antiques and not exactly as good. That said, in the game of Nebulous Fleet Command, you can get a battleship outfitted with a bunch of beam turrets and other nastiness, so it's a threat that when it's brought, you do have to play with. But I also believe that because of how much points invested into it, for example, a battleship hull is 1,000 points. So you're already paying 1/3 of your points into the ship. So that's a huge investment. I would say the battleships, they can be very good, but I personally don't prefer them. I like something with a little more speed that can have agency around the map and just allow me to take a wider, more dynamic fleet rather than investing most of my points into just one big ship and then like the 1 or 2 ships that go along with you as escort. That said, I've seen people have great success with a 2,000 point battleship and then like four cappers or so. You can get a couple shuttles for about 250 points and they work pretty good. Okay, those are shuttles on the OSP side. It's sprinters on ANS. Anyways, since we have the long-range fire support and we want to keep our broadside towards the enemy, I'm kind of thinking we'll take a commanding position in the center of the map, like so, and control the high lanes of fire here, expecting the enemy to come from the E point. So we're going to set up like that, set up kind of center of the map here. Oop, can't quite deploy the Vine Memory. Vine Memory, and they were roommates, and lastly, the 7 seconds of fame. I can YOLO the 7 seconds of fame onto the C point, so we will do just that, I believe. Or I can use it as a little offside forward scout. I think I'll keep it alive since I'm pretty sure we have a lot of various other little cap fleets in our team. So if we just want to have a sacrificial capper go towards the C point, grab that under our control, then have the enemy have to try and push forward or towards it. Commanding position taken from the top here. We can then fire from the sort of top side of the skull. As you can see, it is in fact a skull. Got the eye sockets and a long sort of rodent mouth shape here. I do like, I don't know, skulls are just kind of interesting. It's like aesthetically, like, I'm a bit of a 40k nerd, so I do kind of like the whole skull iconography and that, but I don't know. I also have a couple of like animal skulls that I've just kind of cleaned up and that just keep around and have repaired since it's like, hey, I mean, they weren't using it, so you just dissolve those and then you just get a sort of like rodent skeleton or something interesting like that, and it's just a cool little set piece that you can put on a mantle or something. I know some people find it creepy, but I'm like, hey, we all have bones. They're just on the outside this time. Also, as a random anecdote, I do hope that when I eventually die, as I have a set number of lives that I can eventually get through, I hope that my skeleton ends up in some university where they play dress up with it like every holiday season. Like on Easter, my skeleton is displayed on like the science wing. It's got like these big pink floppy bunny ears or something. On Halloween, they give me a pumpkin hat or something. That's just like a great way to go, because even after you've kicked the bucket, you can still make people laugh. I like that. Anyways, we're going to deploy in here, just waiting for Tom, Zero, and Cosmic to ready it up. Give them good luck, have fun. That is a threat. You must have luck, and you must have fun. Yeah, a little different now is we're playing the OSP, the kind of menagerie of various freighters and other retrofitted ships to serve combat purposes. In this case, these are bulk freighters, which are literally, as the name would imply, freighters for moving bulk goods that we have been retrofitted with a bunch of cannons on the side, like a 17th century galleon. So, in this case, we're going to select our ships and tell them to face their heading sideways. We're going to set the loose formation and then move up. Moving. We've got nice menagerie of ships here. As you just look at this, you can see all the various different ones here, kind of on the deployment ring setup.
Send traffic.
So we're going to move ourselves up along here.
Take us in.
I'm going to adjust my formation so that I have my ships in line like this. I'll give them a little bit of a vertical difference. There we go. We can move like so. The Vine Memory can go ahead and get its early warning radar set up like this.
Acknowledged.
And I'll have it set its heading as well as its fire control radar. So we have a search radar, which is the big blue cone you see here. This is fairly inaccurate radar tracks, as when we detect an enemy, you'll get a diamond with a dot jittering all the way around it, like so. As you can see, very inaccurate tracking and whatnot. However, the Bloodhound radar here is very accurate. So the idea is that this is kind of your search, and then this is your marker radar that is able to get you very good lock-ons to targets out to about 14 kilometers, which is beyond the range of any ANS radar. So,
on the way, Commander.
That said, ANS does have its own counters to this, such as the Pinard module, which allows you to detect ships and their radar signatures out to basically, I think, infinite range. I'm going to set this one actually a little bit higher up here. We'll just set ourselves like so. There we are. See ourselves adjusting now to have our broadside facing towards the right side, or rather the left side. And by right, I meant correct, yes. You know what I mean, chat. All right, let's move it up. So we have our shuttle just kind of moving around here. We got, looks like a couple tugs here just kind of hanging out.
Send traffic.
They see that we have a whole bunch of early warning radars because we all decided to bring them, and they're all getting their Pinard locks on it right now, which is very funny. So they must have a Pinard one out there.
5x5.
That said, we can't actually see them right now because the radar return is still very poor. You've got a long range of like 18 kilometers or so, but you're still trying to spot like a dust speck of a ship out there. Anyways, gonna go ahead and search low real quick since I have the angle to do so. Sweeping our radar over there. I'm actually gonna align my fire control radar to here. There we go. Just bring in more ELINT. Yep. If you get two ELINTs, you can get a cross fix. So ideally, you'll have them on very opposite sides of the map. That way, you can get the best triangulation of the enemy positions. Set up our little shuttle here.
Helm, take us in.
Got our guns kind of set up facing the right direction now as our ships move into position, jockeying over top of this rock.
We have secured Zone Atlas.
I'm expecting them to either push up to the C point and then get hit by our weapons, or for them to try and get to the E point here shortly.
At the ready,
We'll already be pre-aimed and looking at.
Copy that. Moving.
We are securing Zone Comet.
somebody apparently got a good missile strike off. At least that... Oh, they're being sarcastic. I can't tell. Oculus Spec... Ooh. Okay, this is interesting. It's a Wake Seeker, and it's eating Aurora shots. Okay, so we know there's enemies down there on the F point. Yeah, Wake Seeker, so you can detect enemy ships in a very wide cone. And you can kind of spot onto them and then track them that way. The Wake Seeker is interesting as it's kind of jank, but it's also kind of... It's jank, but it's also not jank. It's very good at like getting in the general direction of the enemy, but in terms of like actually hitting them, you'll have a lot of mixed results with that. See enemy ships come down here, so no sign of them moving up and outwards yet. I think that we're going to keep our ships on hold fire. I'm going to preemptively aim some high explosive rounds at the E point over here. Yep, there we go. Order you to fire a grape shot at that, whatever it is. Oop. Let me select my ship and move. I quickly change our course like so and head back into cover. We need to evade whatever that could be. I don't know what this is, but it is firing missiles at us, which is bad. Oh, that's going to be a hybrid. Let's see if we got it. Turn off the radar right quick. Oh, that is a mace. Okay, this could be interesting. We're going to see how good our point defense is. Yeah. Yippee!
Aye, Commander.
Need to adjust my early warning track radar and whatnot. There we are. In this case, that is... Yep, there we go. It is just Act Seeker. Yep. Act Seeker with a Wake passive, so we're able to handily evade that since it went after our Shaft Cloud instead. We're going to fire our Grape Shot. Where's it? Oh. Ooh. Whoa. Okay. Whoa. I was trying to track it. You see our point defense firing in turn against it. Gonna look around and see if we can't find any big ships out there. A light cruiser is a good target for us, and I think that might almost be in range. Gonna rotate our Bloodhound radar onto it like so. And order our ships to lock target. Stand by for them to be in range to fire. Gonna order them to just kind of move around a little bit here. Got our shuttle here ready to engage. Seeing a missile going off here. The container, unfortunately, probably not going to find it as the Corvette did move off, but you might be able to catch that voxel in the distance. See our ship here now bearing onto the target, getting our good locks, ready and willing to fire. And fire! Doing our whole pirate cannon galleon thing here as we just bombard this incoming voxel. See, it has a Corvette with it, so we'll have to deal with that as well. We're going to self around like this. Going to set our heading preemptively here. The ship is accelerating very quickly, so we're not able to get a super great hit on it. I'm going to mark it as a priority target since it's one of the few large targets we see here. That said, it should probably catch... Yep, there we go. Ooh, missiles coming off the backpack on that thing, so we're going to fire off everything we can into this before it quickly disappears. In this case, we get 2 very good volleys, so we're going to order our ships to hold fire. Not expecting to be able to get another hit into that. Going to order a dummy fire order here to keep our ships pointed the right way and move ourselves around.
On the way, Commander.
Next, oop, that is a, what are you? Sometimes perspective can be a little hard with this. Okay, so it's trying to track around here. We're going to sacrifice ourselves to get the E-cap, hoping for it. We see Miscellaneous got a cap ship over here, live at 200,000 volts. Ooh, this is interesting. So I believe that, yeah, because the Act Seeker is not quite locking on. This thing is trying to zoom around using the Wake trail left behind by the ship. So Heat Seeker's doing Heat Seeker things. Ooh, we got... That's going to be important. I'm going to call that one out to the team. Oop. I call it this as a destroyer formation, so you get 3 of them there. Probably beam ships, so have to watch out for those. Beams are very nasty up close and personal. Now, we're going to lock onto that ship since we should be able to get a hit on it. They are unfortunately able to see us right now, which is not what we want. Going to move around like so. We're getting jammed. I think, yeah, our sensors are getting jammed, but they don't seem to be at a range that is able to interfere with us, so that's good. Order our early warning radars to change over.
Roger that.
Since they seem to be going around this side, we're going to quickly set flank speed and then order these shots to be taken on that. I'm going to give them the free fire order in case they do get an angle. Do the same with our ship here, moving up to command on this top point. Trying to find essentially the space high ground as we shoot down. Oop, unfortunately, we are getting locked onto here, so we're going to have to quickly break off our angle and try and dodge. That is going to be incoming missiles on us. I would be surprised. Those are size 2 missiles, which I think I've got a pretty good defense against. Alright, yep, we have managed to break their lock, so we're going to quickly dive into the E point here. Trying to navigate like so. Oop, gonna watch out for that. We're just going to tuck ourselves into a little corner here where they can't see us and hope for the best.
Send your traffic.
As for our fleet proper, yep, we're going to set them to hold fire order as our track is going all over the place since we only have them on early warning right now. We don't have them on the true locking radar. Ship has kind of come to a halt in dead of space and is now trying to move backwards.
Awaiting orders, Commander.
See some missiles flying up here, but luckily they are missing. They just went a little bit wide. They've got the Wake Seekers, so they might be able to pick up our trail, but looks like, yep, they just went completely wide instead. Phew. Close one there.
Ready.
Size 2 missiles, despite the name being sort of, smaller implying, they still do pack a respectable amount of punch and are not to be trifled with, as basically anyone who has gotten hit by a missile will tell you that it is not a fun experience. I just realized I'm slamming into a wall here.
I can't see anything.
We're going to try and do this. Actually, Miscellaneous already has the cap, so we're just going to let them do that. If they get booped, we can be the secondary, so, yep. We'll just stick ourselves against that rock. Now, if you would be so kind as to long-range track that, please. Thank you. Fortunately, we are in jamming range, so that is going to be difficult. Wait until we sweep our smaller blue cone over to them, and then hopefully we'll get the hit. Switch over off of our flank speed, since we don't need that right now, and move from there. There seems to be something over here. I don't know what that is. Probably a Corvette. Come on, lock target. We have a good lock on him, good tone, and you are weapons free. Hit him. Unfortunately, our ships did roll a little silly, so we'll have to just deal with that. They are in retaliation range, which we'll have to consider, but I think that... Ooh, actually... yeah, hold fire. We can get a lock on you, I think. Order my ships to lock target, because they are getting closer. I should be able to get this, I think. We're going to order our ship back here so we get out of their jamming range, potentially. The early warning like so. We've gotten the E point now. Yeah, if we can get within 6.5 kilometers, we will be able to get a fire control lock on them, which greatly improves our accuracy, so we want to try and do that. Are they going to slow down? No, they're going to reverse. Okay, they're reversing and firing at us, so we're just going to take the shots now while we can. We do out-ton this thing by quite a bit, so we are going to play aggressive, moving up like so. Move you over here as well. In this case, they are accelerating away, but we should be able to pace them with plenty of shots on the way back. Yep, you can see plenty of good hits here as the explosions kick off there. Although in this case, they are now moving upwards, so that vertical motion giving them a bit of evasion, but we're still getting plenty of good hits into the hull. We're almost in range to get that fire control radar lock, which will then provide our team with a very good track quality, meaning that they can quickly fire off the other projectiles, which are coming from something else shooting at it. I saw briefly. I don't know what it was, though. Oh, well, either way. Pushing up with a little aggression, we get that lock and are good to continue fire as soon as our ammo is recycled.
Send your trash to launch.
Here, more missiles being launched across the battle space, so we're going to quickly move ourselves over to here. I want to keep an eye out for various things, so we're going to move our ship around the boat like so. We might be able to get the hemlock over here.
They've got a lock on us. Ready.
Let's see, yep, little missile being fired up here. A mace torpedo going after Miscellaneous' ship. Let's see if it locks it or not. Anti-missile missiles flying out there. So no, this thing does not detect the ship here, as the wake signature has worn off and the wake particles disintegrated as well. Kind of lost in the void of space as that torpedo just goes into the aether and the rocks. We're getting some shots here as they continue to return fire against us, but we are pushing them back decisively. I'm expecting this thing to be worth probably at most like 1,500 points. So we're trying to use our about, call this like 2,200 or so points to aggressively push up on them. We see there was a sprinter down there, but there's not really much we can do about that right now. Can we? I might be able to hit that with something.
Yeah, we see them.
I'm gonna order you to try and lock that with your fire control radar, which is mounted on the bow there. It is struggling a little bit as the radar range is not superb, but we can lock it either way. You are able to lock that, and you should be able to lock this. There we are, and then you're gonna fire. Fire, 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 fire. Turn off flank speed since I don't think we need it. Keeping ourselves going along here. I'm going to set our move order to evasive so that we are able to dodge incoming fire. Now, this is towards the front of the ship, so we're going to order the AP rounds to be loaded so we get better penetration down the bow. Ooh, unfortunately, one of our ships had just reloaded, so... Ooh, this is going to be interesting. Oh, crap. Oh, boy. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Pop chaff, pop chaff, pop chaff. No, 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 no. Mace torpedoes might hit us here. This might be bad. We're killing some of them, though, luckily. Okay, good amount of flak doing its job. We're going to make sure that our little shuttle here is able to fire its grape rounds away. Rockets, unfortunately, missing most of those. Maybe 1 or 2 hits on them. I think... Ooh, yes, it did hit the drive on that, so that's very important. It is no longer able to move. We're going to just quickly fire everything we got on it, switching to high explosive rounds now.
We've got them now.
All right, let's see. Going to turn our radars back on. Going to go after that voxel. I have to move my radar track ship over as well.
Aye, aye. Full
Keeping
power.
track of various different fleets is something that you get better. Well, okay, various different ships in your fleet is something you get better at in
We're on our
time.
way.
In this case, I practice a decent amount, but at the same time, while I'm trying to provide some commentary and explaining what I am doing to our dear viewers here, is something that I could be better at. Having to use your brain to both play the game and also commentate is something that some people are better at. I am still working on. So, hey, steady improvement, though. Here we see the Snake Root Sprinter Corvette getting completely gotted by a mixture of the rocket strike from earlier and also our little 100mm shots. Sprinters and shuttles have basically no armor, so they're very vulnerable, but at the same time, they are very small and very fast. So, kind of the speed is your survival nature of the ship. Moving our way down like here.
We're on our way.
And so we see our ships trying to play bumper ships against the rock here, so we're going to quickly change our heading, moving them a little bit further down. There we are. There's the new target that we had.
Send your
Order the
traffic.
locks of our
That's
ships
us
here.
out of range.
I think that we'll try and get the pursuit on for this, so go with this. You're going to lock on
Target
here.
locked.
Then hopefully any second now, you should be gone. Yep, that is the space oil, so ship is dead. Yay! We'll then order you to return to kind of your defensive position up top here.
Helm, take us in.
Enemy has 3 points to our 3 points, so we're going to just keep going on them here.
Engaging target.
Lock target and lock target. Oop,
Locking
we're
on.
going to stop our evasive maneuvering as we are
Send
again
your
playing
traffic.
Hug the Rock. Ah!
Ready.
Okay, just going to move the fleet a little bit over this way so we don't do anything too
How can
stupid
we
here.
help Today, Commander?
Scrape of the paint, grind, squeak, crunch, metal pipe, grinding sounds, munch,
Send your
crunch. Oof. Long range radar can
Aye, aye.
track that one. I should be
Copy
playing
that.
a little bit more with my like situational awareness around the map, but
Aye, aye, Commander.
currently stands I'm doing well enough to target you. We're going to just order the opening of fire here.
Moving to that position, Commander.
Sometimes the move command order goes a little bit wonky.
Gotcha.
In this case, they're trying to bear back onto target, so just gonna fire whatever rounds we have here. Those are probably going to be size 2 missiles. I think I can handle those. Maybe not on you. You have a VLS, so we're just going to go ahead and stop
Bring
you,
us to a stop.
turn off your radar, and pop a bunch of
Aye,
chaff.
aye, running low.
There we are. 3 chaff ought to seduce those. Very nice. Yep. Wham wham. Right into the rock. They fell for the bait. The radar return of the chaff launcher being very... Well, the radar return of a chaff cloud being very good compared to, say, the small like radar signature of a shuttle. We're just going to order it to fire AP rounds at this thing because, hey, why not? You should be able to lock onto target shortly. We're going to switch over to HE rounds, firing a mixed salvo and complement here. Yep. Just barely coming around the rock now. Need to move like so. In this case, we have a good amount of point defense. The flak clouds destroying most of the incoming missiles. And the grazer sort of laser welding turrets just cooking away at the stuff that is remaining. Trying to get a lock onto that target, but struggling now as it just is continuing to evade us. In this case, more of the missiles going after the flak cloud here. We're going to send one of our ships over towards the D point, so we can cap that. Bring it to position itself here. Then a waypoint down onto the F point. There we go.
Helm, take us in.
D point is not something that we can really contest right now, so
Moving.
there's another one of those. We're going to turn off the radar and the comms, just that way it gives us the smallest possible radar sig, and it should go after that shaft cloud, which we see the missiles do just now. Yep. Given the option of itty-bitty little sprinter shuttle here, it is going to elect to shoot the shaft cloud, and apparently they are also firing on it there. So, ha, sucker, you cannot see me.
Orders, Commander.
All right, we're just going to push super aggressively towards that ship since we want that thing dead. Going to order our ships to lock on and then just fire their weapons.
Reporting.
We're going to keep our sort of locking tug,
Moving
our
out.
locking tug, our locking, ooh, I did not know there's a pair of Axfords on the map. Okay, well that will be Task Force Ash, not Ash, Oak. Ash is the beam
Aye, aye,
fleet.
Commander.
Play long enough, you recognize certain ones. Anyways, we're going to align our locking radar onto that one to help out our teammates when we get a
Aye,
good
aye,
angle on
Commander.
them. Same with our search radar.
Aye, aye.
Now we'll be able to move ourselves probably onto the flanking route here. Considering they're going to be right on the F point, I don't think we'll be able to take that, so we're just going to hide our shuttle down here in this little trench of bone and go from there. For our fleet right now, we're going to order the ships to give a dummy fire order, roughly, give or take. I think it was like around here-ish. There was the
Firing
enemy
on that
ship, so
target.
we'll do that. That way, our ships are already
Gotcha.
pre-aimed
5
and
by
ready to
5.
fire. See them trying to move up like so. I'm going to give them a bit of a different maneuver now. There we are.
Checking the formation.
roughly in line, but still apart enough that they will not be bumping the front and backs of the ships together. See a rocket ship going around the corner here now, spotting that voxel. We were close, but not quite on. Instead, we're going to give a dummy fire order a little bit off to the side like that. There we go. Just kind of preemptively aiming where we think the enemy's going to be. We will move around the rock like this. Coming over the top should be quite nasty for them. A surprise hello, how do you do treatment. Oh, come on, give me the lock. 500 meters, that's fine. Anyways, we have the target, we have the locks. Target applied, flank speed set. We're going to come around this corner and absolutely wallop this ship in the shadow of the rock here. We can't really see it that well, but we can see that a couple systems have been already knocked out, so it has been wounded, and we are going to go in for the kill.
Send traffic.
For our shuttle here, they're just making their way onto target. If I get too close to these Axfords, they're probably just going to fire off a missile or some other weapon into me, so I won't be able to actually cap it. I don't know if this is the real Task Force Oak, or that they've just kept the names on it and are going with that as their style. Could be either one. All right, we're going to set our early warning radar lock. There we are. Oh, sorry, our Bloodhound radar lock. Would you?
Engaging. Locking target.
You.
Go ahead.
And we lost the fire order briefly there, so having to reapply that as we come around the corner.
Reporting.
See our Bloodhound being very good. We're getting great track quality, very minimal error, judging by the little dot jumping around there. So I do like to see that. Going to move ourselves a little closer so we just get a bit better return, since it is multiplied by the distance that we have to target. Order everyone to fire the best thing they got as soon as they come around this corner here. Just doing the angling. This should be easy for us. Just going holding a fire until we get into position. Come on, buddy, give me that lock. Push a little bit more forwards like so as well. Now we have the lock. We're going to order free fire. Send everything you got as soon as you clear the rock. Bam, 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 bam. Stop burning your thrusters apart now. Just move about like so. Part of the OSP gameplay is dipping out from behind cover and then firing a whole bunch of shots into the ships that you see here. And then as your guns have to take like a lengthy recycle time, or not recycle, a lengthy reload cycle, then you wait for your ship to finish that behind a rock, and then you pop out and then do your burst. It's very much rewarding for a burst and ambush. In this case, we weren't sure if the enemy ship was going to be nosed towards us or not, so we fire a mixed volley of AP and HE shells here from our ship. Bam, 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 bam. Whole bunch of 450 rounds along with some missiles going into this little light cruiser here. Can't quite see if that's the magic smoke out of it yet, but we're just going to keep firing because, hey, why not? We paid for the ammo, and we're going to use the damn ammo. In this case, we're moving towards the pair of Axfords there as well, ready to get into a good old fight with them. They are a bit more of a formidable threat than this light cruiser, but I do also want to finish off this light cruiser before I decide to move on to new targets. We're just going to wait for our ships here. See them. It's interesting. If I press shift, it makes the cycle timer kind of freak out. Neat.
Standing by.
Anyways, this is not under command, so one more good volley should knock it out. We're just going to fire the same mixed volley that we had before. They should recycle any second now. There's a whole bunch of missiles. I don't believe missiles have enough damage to actually break the threshold for most of the components that you need to kill in order to knock out a ship proper. 450, on the other hand, does. Bam, 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 bam. Not under command. We should hear the alarm bells any second now. Yep, there it is. That is our cue. All right, we are going to instead change our fire order onto the moral failing since we have a good lock on that. Order the lock change target. There we go. Going to continue our advance until we get a 6.5, and then we're going to evade a little bit like so. The ship should be marked as dead. I'm going to make sure that our lock, lock is still good on them. There's a lot of blue cones right now, so it's very hard to see which one is which. We are. Anyways, target is acquired. The moral failing sitting right there, hugging the wall as we get multiple other ships on it. The value judgment is moving currently, though. So I don't... Ooh, it is taking a couple shots at us, so that is a problem. All right, let's quickly set ourselves to evade and then open fire with everything we got. I'm feeling more like I should shoot the one that is shooting at me, so we're going to do that. I think that it is side towards us, so we can load HE rounds. Yep, looks like it. Gonna load HE rounds, since 450 HE has pretty good armor pen. Just you need AP against the front side of big ships like that. Any second now, we should have our guns loaded. Yep, we do. So we're just going to engage into some various sort of jank fisticuffs here as we just move around in a spectacularly jank fashion. Our evade order causing our ships to jitter back and forth a little bit. There is technically a better way of doing this, but this is the way that I'm caring to do right now. So there.
Locking them up.
Let's see. Can I get a
Go
lock
ahead,
on
Command.
the other one? I think I can. Yes, I can. I can keep both of these targets locked, I'm pretty
Send
sure.
traffic.
Yep, there we are. Unfortunately, losing
Requesting
our
repairs.
point defense and our
ASAP.
pinpoint radar here due to a well-placed shot. So we're going to
Awaiting orders,
quickly change
Commander.
our lock order over. There we are.
We're a little banged
Actually,
up,
we can
Commander.
have somebody else locking this. Cool. Yeah, we're just going
Standing
to
by.
fire all we got here.
Echoing up
In this
today,
case,
Commander.
now finding cover
Request
since,
lead in.
well, we just are...
Heading here now,
We're
Commander.
going to do our whole pop-out, fire, pop back into cover thing if we can. We're not kitted for, like, super big bursts with a whole bunch of rapid cycle cradles like some other ships might be. But still, we are able to handily put out a bunch of fire and then just, you know, dip back into cover as I described.
Here now, Commander.
You can turn off your evade, just go straight direct. Watching them now take a
Got
whole
you
bunch of
5
return
by
fire.
5.
If we break line of sight, that will drop their fire order, meaning that we are able to get ourselves kind of like a refresh as
At
we
the
go back
ready,
into the fight.
Commander.
The Cosmic Eradicator decided to throw in the towel. Unfortunately, we did end up with a whole bunch of caps as we just slowly trickled them out. So a little bit one-sided, unfortunately, as we did have some very good players on our team, but at the same time, we managed to do some fun actions, and I feel like everyone learned a little bit more as they try and improve and get better at the game. Everyone has their times where you get beaten. Everyone, as long as you are learning, is winning. That's what I say. It's only a loss if you didn't learn anything, and you didn't improve on anything, and you just completely showed up and nothing happened. As long as you are trying and commanding your fleet and doing the best you can and developing your skills, you are winning.
Standing by.
I'm going to go ahead and grab a little bit more fire in here. Yep, so they've thrown in the towel this time. I'll give them a GG, well played in that. Yeah. All right, that is 6:30, so we should have time for, I think, another match or so. Yeah. Let's see, what did we do in terms of damage? We did not spend most of the match fighting, as we only had a light cruiser to shoot at. So, again, not the greatest damage dealt here, but at the same time, we managed to ward off the enemy from the points that we were commanding. So, good show on that front. I'm going to ready up once again, as I'm going to take a big sippy. We'll have time for another one, so we're going to go on our little on the hour ad break early, so that way we don't get intermission in the middle of a game. So we'll be back in 3 minutes. I will see you all then. Yeah. All right, chat. Let's get that audio back on. We are back from our break. Thank you for being patient and waiting with me. We're just going to probably get into another game in the next minute or so. I think we'll shuffle up the teams a little bit, as it was a bit of a stack in the last game. We want to make this a more even and interesting game, fighting against opponents of relative skill to us. And just talking a little bit about the post-game, how you kind of find like, oh wow, I haven't played for a while and now my fleet sucks. You do get a bit of that if you take a break from the game. Some updates happen, meta evolves a little bit. But you always come back and you think, hey, I've got an idea. I'm going to improve on this thing, and I'm going to learn these new mechanics, and I'm going to improve at the game. And it's just a very fun sort of puzzle to dynamically solve as things come in and out of player favor. Like, for a while there, everyone enjoyed running a whole bunch of very cheap swarms of tugs. Then a small change happens to the tug's main gun, the 250mm casemate, which then sent people saying, okay, I'm going to want to run different stuff now. So you get a bunch of little changes going on, and also just some people discover what the good counter to a system is that is very oppressive in the current game. And then that counter becomes very oppressive, and then you get the new counter to that going. So you get an interesting revolving door of what's in favor and like what's out of favor. So it's nice to see the constant changes going on with that. Caltrop, the magical ice crystal ball, is a spiky boy in space. Personally, I quite enjoy Neb because it is a game that, again, it rewards you for being creative and thinking on the fly. And sometimes, even when you have a perfect build, you get completely knocked in like the first few minutes of the game by a missile strike. And then you have to figure out, okay, I do not have my optimal solution. How am I going to be effective in this battle space now? Which is a lot of fun to deal with, because you have to then consider suboptimal solutions in like the best case that you can come up with on the fly. And that's a lot of fun, having to like kind of plug holes in your ship as you are... sailor? All right, another ice map. It's fun to have like the perfect solution come up in the fleet editor, and you're like, I've got perfect idea, all this is ready to go. And then the match starts, and just everything starts spinning all over the place, and you have to figure out what are you going to do in this scenario. Like, maybe you brought a whole bunch of missiles that are really good against big ships, and the enemy has chosen to go super wide, and they have a huge swarm of tugs and shuttles and frigates and etc. So that is a lot of fun, because you don't know exactly what to expect, so you have to be general, but also tailored. Like, you can pick a specific giant killing fleet, kitted to, like I said before, kill large ships, or you can decide you want to play something that's kind of a fly swatter, shutting down a bunch of these smaller ships around the battle space that would otherwise be a big problem in the late game where you get caps gun. I think that I could play something with missiles. Did my gun CLs, jump scare, task force action. I've got a bunch of like Corvette spams that I haven't actually refined yet. I should work on those at some point. We can play Exford Intel, Beamford and Sons. Where was my Ferry Court? Ferry Court, here we are. So Ferry Court's a fleet that I kind of like playing. I'm gonna show you all this. Ooh, Broken Bones tight? Okay, we can go for Broken Bones on that. Try and get a little bit of fun in there. I might even sit this one out. I don't think any of us know what that map is. Anyone? Let's see, what is Broken Bones? Ooh. That's interesting. I'm not sure if I've played this. I say it looks like a cave. This could be interesting. Anyways, the Ferry Court fleet we have here is something I named because, well, honestly, the Axford came up as the name Gavel. I was like, well, that sounds very official. So we went with that. Then we kind of went for a Fey Court name, Lord Root Satyr, just kind of that aesthetic. So we went for our big old command cruiser. It's got a nice backpack of missiles here that I actually need to edit now that I think about it. I've got some Axwake and A-Red Axe that I should probably change around. Yeah, these are a little old. Missile patches come through since then and changed the way these work. So I'm going to swap these over to, I think, A-Red Axe, like so. A-Red, and then you can be Axe Seeker backup. Makes them a little cheaper. Go with Corkscrew on you. Actually, what's the difference here even? Huh. A sec, where is my wallops? We're just gonna go ahead, remove these. I'm pretty sure that these are the same. Revert you back to whatever you were before. Yeah, these look normal. Okay. We'll just add a whole bunch more of those. Nice. And it gets us some extra points. And then I can change these to be corkscrew type. Then that means that I'm a couple points over, but I can save some points somewhere, I think. We have a bunch of AP rounds, flak. This all looks pretty normal. I guess we'll just trim off like a little bit of chaff or things. Active decoys. We can trim an active decoy out. That seems to make sense. I don't think we'll need that many. There we go. Perfect. We've already gotten the fleet ready to go. I guess I could trim like a little ammo, but I'm probably going to use this as I have double ammo elevator on these, so they do chew through their ammo pretty quick. Yeah, these are cheap little gun frigate escorts. They don't have any point defense, so they are vulnerable to missiles, but I am trying to rely on a collection of my soft kill in the form of a VLS launcher here, dropping active decoys and chaff, and also the point defense mounted on my command ship. So it's a nice little sort of triangle fleet that you have like the centerpiece as your big Axford, and you've got your supporting frigate elements. So yeah. Anyways, we're just going to see if we can't get one more match in today before I pass off this stream to, I think, Vivi, who should be coming online any second now. At least she was scheduled to. I'm going to check with her and see if she's on. Shoot her a message while I'm waiting in the lobby and all that. Yeah. I feel like playing a little bit ANS because I find more often than not I end up playing OSP. I just kind of end up on the OSP side since I think there's more ANS purists as the faction is a little older and people have kind of gotten more comfortable with their toolkit. I like the OSP because they have a couple of non-conventional tools and just kind of new things that I hadn't played with before, and they're still very fresh. Also, I find that their cheap shuttles are very, very good for maintaining map control versus the Sprinter Corvette is a little more expensive. So the most expensive, like, cheap ship, like, when you consider, like, you just need a ship to go cap a point, just having a cheaper ship to go do that, like, if you're going to throw, like, a shuttle away, that's maybe, like, 100 or so points. But if you're going to throw a Corvette away, that's going to be closer to 200. So it's just cheaper to go send your ship that won't come back out to a point, cap it, and then just deal with that, like, small tax on your systems on the OSP side than it is on the ANS side. So that's one of the other things I like. Also, the radars are quite nice with the combination of early warning radar and the Bloodhound, since you can track enemies at a ridiculous distance with that. That said, the ANS has its own various counters to that, so there's an interesting amount of counterplay and faction thing going on there, but I think I've just kind of gravitated towards being an OSP ruffian, as the Discord tags might say. So, that said, we got ourselves a couple people dropping in now, looking for that final slot to fill up. I think that, yeah, so Miss Lane is going to leave so we can get this one. Say, yes, Team 1, OSP, Team 2. Or we could do, or we could go for it the other way around. Yep. Option remains. I don't think that, we did OSP last game, so, alright. We'll go for OSP Team 1. Yeah, we'll just load up this fleet real quick. There we are. OSP Team 1, the illegal stream. I should actually have changed the text that I'm just realizing now on the stream. I might have just change that and pretend that I didn't forget to do that. There we go. There. Nebulous Fleet Command. Yay. Alright, so teams loaded up. We're going to be OSP once again. I'm probably... I could play a pair of Cellos. Cellos are kind of a fun little ship. They're the equivalent of the Axford, but for the OSP. Ignore the text not matching up exactly with the hole here. That said, I could also go for a Broadside 250 Barrage, which is kind of fun. I think this is the... Pretty sure this is the modern version. Yeah. This is a lot of fun because you fire a lot of 250 rounds very fast, which is a big problem for ANS ships. So. Statue guys. Broken Spirit. Don't know who that is. Huh. Do we have a spectator? Nope, doesn't look like it. Interesting. Alright, well, wish that side of the map was rotated. Play OSP, never get to the other side of pillars. Yes, indeed. Well, I think we'll play 250 Broadside and just show what triple bulk freighter with a whole bunch of DAC I can do. That said, we could also play Frontline for our team. Ooh, interesting. Got some container stack launchers there. I wonder whether they got packed in those. Container stack launchers, another interesting tool. One thing I really like is that OSP gets decoy containers, as in a container that is just giving a fake radar signature saying, hey, I'm a bulk freighter, or I'm a shuttle, or something like that. That's really cool to mess with your enemies' heads, and it feels super good when you see a whole bunch of missiles fly towards a decoy you sent off, and then just completely waste themselves, because the decoy costs like 6 points, and each of those missiles had to be like 18 to 20 apiece. So, that feels good. Right. I think that we might need a little bit more tankiness here with some better point defense. At the same time, these seem pretty good for frontline. We'll play as this, since this has a nice mixture of various point defense types. We've got our Pavises for dealing with those incoming torpedoes, Bastions for the incoming size 2s, and honestly, against size 3 hybrids, we're probably going to get hit, but we've got a Grazer or 2 throughout the fleet, so we should be able to take some stuff, I think. I swore I had another Grazer in the fleet, but I guess not. We just got the one, so that's enough to take out at least one incoming missile. We'll just go with what we got and see how much damage we can do. Let's get last one ready here. He's just setting up the last of his loadout there. Ghosty also finishing detailing the fleets. So sometimes you do get people who are editing for the longest time when it's a 9 out of 10 ready lobby. So don't be that guy. Keep an eye on the bottom right corner where it says, hey, people are ready up when you're in the editor, because otherwise you're going to be the one guy keeping everyone waiting, and nobody wants to be that guy. So that said, we got a nice mixture of ships here. No Acellos on our team, although I think that we will be able to manage without. The Acello is a good platform, despite what some people might say. It provides the OSP with a bunch of ANS exclusive modules, such as the Aurora Point Defense Laser, which is very good against hybrids. It also provides you with a couple of things like the Vertical Launch System missiles, which, I mean, they are... Some people will say they're better than the MLS system. Some people will say they're worse. It gives you the option. I've seen wonderful things done with what's called a Torpcello, which is an Acello loaded up with a whole bunch of torpedoes and just sent towards the enemy team, because the ship is resilient enough that it can get close up to the enemy. And then when you launch your torpedoes at like 6 kilometers or so, it is just bad news for anything that is within 6K of you. You are at risk of getting hit by beams at that range, but at the same time, anything that is in range to beam you is going to have a torpedo up its butt, and it is not going to have fun with that. Check if people are in fact ready. I think that we're still in lobby, right? Should still be in lobby. Okay, so they're just figuring things out and that coordinating and whatnot. We can't see their team chat, so we'll just have to wait and be patient. Okay. Maybe have enough time for this. Ask how it is. Good. Seven-ish. I'm hoping the gnome remover is ready to go. Looks like Ghosty has, in fact, readied up. They're a few points short, but that shouldn't make or break anything. You don't have to use every one of your points, but... Oh, no. Right. Well, let's hope for a quick, fast match here, as I do want to pass the stream off to Vivi, but we're getting in our good game of the day on that. Let's go. Maybe I shouldn't have started this one. Well, okay, chat, we'll just have to win this within 10 minutes, all right? 10 minutes, and then we can go hang out with other people and be a Nebulous annoyance on another stream. Yes, yes. Load into the battle space. I might have actually played Broken Bones once before. I don't remember this map, though. If it looks like a big potato, then I have played it. We're going to see. I'm just loading, watching the nameplates bake. That's another thing that's on test server. The nameplates are more efficient, so you spend less time in the loading screen. They just all kind of bake into a big one. Yeah, meow. Meow to you too. We're just loading into the Neb match now. See what we get. Hope we don't get hung up on nameplate loading. That would be unfortunate. Sometimes the game does hang in the loading screen for a little longer than you would expect. It's sometimes because people will lose connection and then get dropped. We're just waiting for other players now as we finish our nameplate texture bake. Gotta wait for everyone else. Bing, 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 bing. Hopefully nobody disconnects on the load, which would be rather unfortunate. Generally, if like in the game somebody crashes, then their fleet is transferred to somebody else. Oh, okay, we're good. Everybody is in. Ooh, okay, interesting. Yeah, this is kind of cool. Okay, I think that I am kitted to brawl pretty well in here, so this is something. We're going to set up on the right side of the map here because we have a whole bunch of close-range firepower, and we're going to try and control, like, the B point. I think we'll dive for the B and then try and play this close angle for the A point. That's about 7.5 kilometers from the center. Okay. So we're in fairly close quarters. We want to be within about 6.5k of the enemy. Our guns technically reach 8 kilometers, but we won't have a very good lock at that range, so we want to get that 6.5k pinpoint radar lock. Makes us super accurate at that range. This does remind me of like a rock that's been cracked or just, dried up Play-Doh that somebody hit with a hammer. It's interesting. I'm not sure how well it's going to play out. It reminds me a bit of some of the levels in like Everspace 2, which is a very good game, and I would love to play more of when they release a new patch for it, because I've basically completed the base game. Everspace 2, another sci-fi game I recommend. I didn't really intend to make this a sci-fi channel. It just kind of ended up being that I play a bunch of sci-fi games, because like kind of fantasy titles are on hold right now, or I've not gotten them installed again. So maybe I'll play some more fantasy stuff. I like both sci-fi and fantasy. Kind of like different fictional universes have different appeals. Yeah, baked potato, peeled and dried. Yeah, it could be. Very flat baked potato, though. We have a flat map there on the bottom. Okay. And as you see our little pancake stack of bulk freighters dropping in now, we see all the gun barrels sticking out the side. We have 9 barrels of 250 millimeter love, so we're going to give that to some of the enemy. See where we go about from there. You can see our point defense turrets mounted on as well. Big old deceleration thruster burn now. Can't really see the enemy as the rocks are in the way. Sometimes you can spot them on the approach, but in this case, that will not be the case. I think we'll go around for the outside in this one. Set ourselves to loose formations so our ships don't clunk into each other and go from there. Yeah.
Course laid in.
Expecting them to send something like probably low and then like cut into the rock from here. Kind of reminiscent of a geode. A lot of little nooks and crannies. So this is going to be really nasty when the test patch drops and you can get mines positioned really close on rocks here. Also, you can get shuttles and other things just tucked nasty little ways away. There's a bit of openings here. I'll be honest, I would like if this was like a little more open, like the rocks maybe just raised up a tiny bit more just so you can maneuver in here. At the same time, if you're doing like individual fleet micro or individual ship micro in your fleet, then yeah, it's like no big deal if you got a cargo monitor and you just want to like snake it through there. But if you're trying to position like a fleet like I have with the triple pancake stack, you're gonna have to go around the outside to go with that. At the same time, you can get some interesting outside lane battles here. Like you get long range set up on top, trying to trade shots with each other as they go up and about. I'll say it is a interesting map so far. Maybe just a little compact. Again, like just looking through this right now, it seems pretty tight through these angles. Yeah. There. Saw something flicker over here. I'm not sure what that was. I think it's just the clipping going on. Anyways, big sunny rock up top. Big old light source coming in here, illuminating this side. So they got the shady side.
Yes, Commander.
We're going to go ahead and order our guns to hold fire, and then we're going to order a barrage onto the point here. That way we're just pre-aimed at the right location as we come across the rocks. Seeing we've got a capper here with a mine layer on it, so we'll be able to get onto the point here, drop some mines, which will be a big surprise for them. Seeing already one of their ships headed towards their A point. How did we get that scout off, actually? Ooh. Interesting. Okay, so you can actually see right down the middle here. Yeah. It is a little tight and narrow, yes. So it's an interesting map. It's not a exact like tunnel, but this is going to be a pretty direct line of fire. Like you get into one of these tunnels, you're not getting flanked unless it's like up or down. It's going to be a pretty straight run into it. So we'll see how this goes. I think we'll just maneuver around the outside and play that flank route, trying to get onto the enemy fleets here, which you can see firing off. There's a Axford cruiser, which we could not mark instead. All right, you see there's a bunch of Vauxhalls there. Triple Vauxhall fleet by the looks. Yep. Ooh, they have a battleship.
Yes, Commander.
Mark that as priority. 8636. Gun BB. Beam backpack. Call that out as I see it. All right, so we know there's a big mass of the enemy moving into the A point. They're probably going to be pushing down to the middle of the map. We're going to go for our flanking route like we intended. I believe I have double drive on these, right? Yep, I got 2 drives. So the long haul gives me speed boost, and then the yard drive gives me a mobility boost. So we'll just move around like so. I'm going to set my aim point over here, actually, expecting them to be coming around this corner any second. We've gotten the little cap shuttle onto the point, which is going to drop its mines. We're taking a slight advantage right now, as the enemy fleet has not pushed up in time to grab any of the other points. The D point going uncontested right now, but looks like they could have a shuttle or something going around the edge there. Yeah, if their deployment point was like... Ours was probably on bearing 0, theirs was on bearing 180, so they could have anything going towards that right now. We're just going to like try and come around this corner and hit something here. Maybe we'll just be a little bit slower here, since we don't know if... Yeah, most of their ships were there, and if we pop our head out right now, we're just going to get immediately retaliated on. See a bunch of their ships now moving into position, trying to get in here. We've marked the Axfords. It's typical that you'll see priority marks given to the large ships, so you can tell what is the big threats on the map, such as the Axford or the Solomon. They will typically get the orange denotation. This is something you can turn on or off by marking them priority for your team or not. In this case, we'll keep the priority marker on there. We're just going to sit tight for the moment, just holding on to our various salvos. Do you have fire control? You do not have burn through, but you can lock target. And okay, so not every ship in our fleet can lock a target, but we are able to lock with several of them, so we're going to use that to our advantage. We are technically in gun range of the A point, but again, we're seeing a lot of their fire being shot off here, so we don't want to pick a fight with the entire enemy team. We want to try and find a straggler or so that we can pick off individually and then move from. If I can get into this position here, I'll be able to dip in and out of cover very handily, so we'll go ahead and try and set that up. Going to align our fire a little bit further past here, so we are pre-aimed. The 250mm casemates, they are on a sort of like rounded mount, so they have a bit of freedom. I think it's like 35 degrees swing up, down, left, right, and such. So we're going to account for that. Bring ourselves into position here.
We're underway.
See, we've got the dummy fire order set there. Our guns are set to hold, so this way our guns are pre-aimed at that objectively just kind of random spot in space. You see the enemy fleet moving into position, the big ships here now pushing towards that C point as they're getting a bunch of containers in return thrown forwards. I would not expect many of these to hit, as we see, yeah, a bunch of RPF rounds in the red, a bunch of flak, a bunch of Auroras, just kind of chipping away at these things. See the frigates here as the ships come to bear. This is actually similar to our fleet that we were originally trying to play. Yeah, they've got the Axford command ship and then 3 frigates, although these frigates are mostly... Ooh, wow. That is a dial tone frigate. Yes. Quadruple hang-ups. Uh-oh. They've been locked. Oh, hi there. Hi, Voxels.
What are our orders?
Please... Shit. Okay. That is bad. We need to dive. So we do know that the enemy is there, but we did not get a lock on them in time, since I was busy looking at the weird fleet ahead of us. We're going to try and get a lock anywhere we can. All right, everyone lock onto that and fire. Fire. Bam time. Let's go. We're going to move out a little bit and then way back into cover. Oop. I want to then move back, yes. So we have managed to acquire a lock, which means this Vauxhall is in for a bad day. I'm probably going to need to swap to AP as soon as we're done this salvo. Seeing a bunch of missiles coming in after us here, but luckily point defense doing point defense thing. We've managed to get a lock, which is very good for us, as it means that a whole bunch of their jamming is not going to be effective as long as we maintain this lock, which we probably won't once we break the angle here. But we are able to get into cover, at the very least, and break their locking and jamming and such. There we go. Disable the flank. All right. Ah, yes, excellent. A whole bunch of their torpedoes absolutely wasted as we managed to dive into the rock's cover. Wonderful. Go here and there. So, yep, just need to fix these thrusters real quick and the drive that's a little on fire along with the reactors. So we managed to evade the incoming enemy fire. We're going to set this and then reload our guns. We're going to then set that dummy fire order again. I think that we'll switch over to AP rounds for the moment. So, yep. Incoming missiles. Yep, there's a torpedo. Okay, we're going to have everyone lock this one and then fire on it. And then just go in and out again. Yeah! You are weapons free. Go. Guns out. Yep. You see them now lock onto the tug here, expecting it to be our ship. Instead, it is not. Hello, you. The Bandersnatch is going to be the first victim. I'm marking that as a priority target. Bring everyone to lock target, please, and thank you. Can we get a lock, please? Thank you. Yes, good stuff. All right, excellent. Fire, 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 fire. Seeing the ships now, they're going to change targets onto us once they've realized that we are, in fact, the actual threat. We're actually going to stay out a little bit longer since we are not getting shot yet. And now we're getting the good damage, yeah. Look at all that 250 AP flying by. The Bandersnatch absolutely getting clobbered on the nose. Let's see. How many more shots do we have in the bank? A couple more left. Yep, that should be most of our salvo. We're going to quickly dip back into cover now using our flank thrusters. Flank gives us very good forward and rearwards motion, so we're going to make ourselves take advantage of that as best we can. There we go. Come on, fire the last of your rounds off now. Should have like 1 or 2 rounds left. Come on, cycle, cycle, cycle. And bam, 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 bam. Yep, all right, there we go. And now we're going to disable our flank to just make ourselves juke a little bit more. Oop, whoa, camera is going super wild right now. What the hell? There we go. All right, we're back in it. Just going to dip into cover once more, doing the same trick. Set ourselves to hold firing order. Just going to align ourselves on a dead spot here. There we go. That is a Reigns class frigate, which we can quickly eliminate. I'm going to actually order them to load HE rounds here in a second. So we'll just order that dummy fire order once again. There we go. Dummy fire order issued. We're going to just stop here on regular speed. Give the guns a little bit of time to reload as they have to do so. We can split our fire between 2 targets. We'll have one of them go after the one frigate and the other go after the other. We're doing pretty well here, although it seems that, yeah, this thing got pretty shredded on approach, so we'll have to deal with that. Okay, that is going to be a problem. All ships rotate and fire upon that. I really don't want that thing to get up there. Actually, never mind. You are just going to cease your fire. You're going to cease your fire. You are good to fire on that in a second once you get a lock. Yep. Just cook them. There we are.
What are our orders, Command? Yes.
It's going to only fire one of the ships since it's overkill if we do more than that, I think. Yeah, we're already peppering that thing pretty good. Won't be much left in a second.
Quiet. Commands on the
You know what? No kill like overkill. Fire for effect. Bam, 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 bam.
Quiet. Commands on the line. Quiet. Commands on the line.
All right, let's see if we can get this thing or not, because I want this thing to get knocked off the map, so that way it doesn't target me anymore. At the same time, I'm a little worried that those foxholes are going to attack me here, so let's do that. Unfortunately, the angling, not great. Okay, oop, its radar is out. I think it is dead, given the amount of fire that we poured into it. I'm not seeing the magic smoke, but...
We've lost a module.
Oop, uh-oh, what did we lose? Oh, we lost our PD laser somehow. We must have friendly fired there. Whoopsies. Let's try and avoid doing that. Anyways, we're going to set ourselves to hold and just do a burn through sweep, I guess. Why not? We will set our guns over to here once again. We should be able to push around this corner. At the very least, we have stopped the enemy from advancing onto the B point, which was our intention. Let's check our lock targets. We're going to cancel the lock on that since I'm pretty damn sure this thing is dead. If it's not dead, it's certainly going to be as these small guns now start lighting it up. So that is another fleet's problem. We have done our job. We're just going to reload our weaponry here and get into another fight. See our dummy fire order, keeping our ship's guns aimed the direction we want them to. Aim towards A like so. We're going to go around this corner, keeping our heading about that way. See ourselves moving about here. Have we? Oh. Looks like our armor got a little crusted. I'm not sure from what. Maybe that's just the lighting. Nah, it's just the lighting. We're good. All right, team. We're going to move around the corner here. Yep, the Vauxhalls have decided that they don't want any of that. Wolfsbane here. Ooh, reactor blew off in the background there. You can see that just cooking off a whole bunch of the ship's armor there. Also, heavy interference because it turns out huge electromagnetic explosion-y interference-y blob. Very bad for trying to see enemies with your radars. Right. Since we see most of the enemy fleet has moved forward, I'm going to assume that their rear point is going to be open. So, we're going to play the flanking 250s. Yes. It's like we're playing Vauxhalls, except in bulk freighter form. For them, once again, to accelerate to attack speed. Yeah. Set our headings to be appropriate for when we get around the corner there. I think that the Vauxhalls decided that they didn't want to take a fight with us and decided to go up here and then dive inwards. At the same time, I'm not seeing anything with the shuttle here. Maybe they did just go down instead. They could be below us. We'll have to keep our eyes out for the incoming enemy forces, potentially. That might be them there that we see. They are moving about the speed of a Vauxhall, give or take. All right. Let's see what we got here. Going to make our way onto the point, and then hopefully we'll have a shot ready and loaded. I'm going to pre-aim towards the inside area here. Kind of getting a fire order somewhere in the rocks. A little hard to see. Yeah. Maybe a bit lower. Yeah, right around there looks good. Okay, that is the voxel, so at least this is one of them. We will come up from behind the enemy fleet here, so we'll be able to do a bunch of nasty surprise damage. Oop, one of their players has disconnected, apparently, so maybe that was the guy whose fleet blew up on the outside here. That could be. I think he had a frigate swarm. Yeah, it looks like a frigate swarm that bit it. All right, we'll be able to get some HE shots into the flank of these ships here, so that should be a pretty nasty surprise to have them receive. I'm going to turn off the flank thrusters just so we can fix up the last little bits of our ships. All these look pretty intact. I'm a little annoyed that I shot my own Razor out. That was kind of an oopsie on my part, so whoopsie, we do a little silly. All right, setting up in position, load the heading that way. Gun turrets rotating to fire and such. And order them actually to aim a little bit deeper into the asteroid. Like that way, so that way they're already pre-turned. See the ship trying to rotate itself around ever so slowly. Only so much thruster on the turning angles here, so we make do with what we got. All right, let's see. We should be able to hit one of these voxels that I kind of saw in here. A little easier to see this outside of the tactical mode. Get a better sense of what this is. I like the tactical mode because it gives me a good overview of everything happening, and I can see all the radar profiles and stuff. But this also means that I am limited in my zoom level and precision. So that being said, we are getting ourselves onto the point. We have got the A-cap going. A-cap for real, for real. Lock onto something in there, more or less. Just kind of eyeballing it here. I don't want to lock onto one of these targets already, because that would mean that if I do lose that lock, then unfortunately I am a little bit beansed for it. So let's see, though. I should be able to get angle on, because I want to hit the small targets. My job is to mop up anything smaller than a cruiser, because 250 is very good against those light targets, as we saw earlier. They're a little bit outside of range here, and also mostly harmless, so. All right, what do we have here? That's the Solomon, which we don't want to tango with. So we're just going to dive our altitude after we cap this point. So what, we're going to lock onto that Vauxhall then, because I think that thing's in range. They're pushing forward aggressively, and we can try and follow them, but our ships are a little bit bulky here, so this could be bad for us. That Solomon has a beam backpack, which if we get within 5 kilometers of, is going to be bad news for us. We're loaded with HE right now, so it would take us I think 40 seconds or so to reload and get into a different firing type. All right, there's a ship that we can take on. We're going to order everyone to lock onto that.
I don't think we can hit that one, Commander.
Then as soon as you get a lock, you are going to be weapons free. Is that a decoy? That's a torpedo. No, it's a decoy. All right, you. Yep.
Quiet. Commands on
Everyone lock onto you, please. Thank you. Should be in range, right?
Locking target.
Can I not lock you? There we go. All right, you are weapons free.
What are our orders, Commander?
Then we're just going to move into the rocks here.
Turning up the engines now.
A little bit like so.
Turning up the engines now.
Bam, bam. That should be an easy kill on you.
We hear you, Command.
And you're going to lock onto this and fire. And then number 1, you're going to take out that thing as well. Fire for effect. Bam, 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 bam. You're using our cleanup... cursor. We're using our cleanup ability here with the 250 to really trim out the enemy's numbers, rendering most of their escorts ineffective.
Ready.
You should be good on that one. I think. Yep, fire on you. You are going to be on that one. Fire on you. You are free to fire.
Yes, Commander.
Yep, everyone is opening fire at will. Excellent. I have good angles on my stuff, so I don't want to drop my altitude anymore. Pew, 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 pew. Trying to clean up the stuff here. This thing should be dead. Yep, that is a dead ship, so we're going to signal it as such. There's a Solomon here driving towards us. Oh, that thing is moving damn fast. Okay, time to leave. Yep, we're out of here. Everyone, yep, there's the beam. Oh, crud. I did not account for that. I did not realize that thing was going towards me so fast. Everyone is going to load AP and lock on target. Fortunately, it only got a little bit of a cook before it ran out, so we're good for right now. We're just going to have to move to standoff distance. You gotta respect them, unfortunately.
That target is out of our range. Locking on the target.
Okay, so the group lock order does not work, unfortunately. I was trying to press Shift X to do that, but
Ready.
either way, we're gonna fire what rounds we got into this thing. We're loaded on AP, so hey, fire away. They're firing 450, but the the same time, their bow is this way, so we're getting a good broadside hit or two here. It might not be enough to really like cripple them, but it's enough to make them think about stuff that we could do. So we're just going to accept that, yes, they are there. They're going to throw in the towel, as unfortunately we've got them pinched in now, and they know it's only a matter of time before they are capped out. Yep, there's that beam firing on our ship here. Luckily, it's only catching the front side of the ship. That said, it is also cooking off the jury-rigged reactor, which is kind of important. We need that. That's actually really lucky of them. Wow. Because like that's the one component that's up there that could go kablooey. Huh. Okay. Just gonna fire on the battleship, I guess. Pew, 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 pew. So yeah, it seems like going inside of the map here is if you want to brawl, but you also have to control the outside lanes with like fast flankers. We did a good job getting towards the B point and then pushing our side, keeping their voxels from being able to move around and do their voxel-y thing.
We're reading you. We hear you.
I'm gonna try and order my escort ships here to lock target. Thank you. We get a good lock on target, and our shots are doing a little bit there. Throw in GG and whatnot. Credit to you, Cosmic Eradicator. Trying to make it work. Battleship here might be breathing its last. Yep, battleship is dead. Heard the alarms. So we're just going to hold fire for now.
What are our orders?
We can cancel our flank maneuver, and we'll just see what is still left.
Awaiting your orders, Commander.
Oh, that will be the game. Okay. Woo! We got to win. So, interesting map. I think it would be a little better if there's like these like rocks just moved up a little bit. Like there's just a bit more space to maneuver inside because it's very tight quarters there and does feel a little bit awkward to do stuff with. But still, that being said, that's going to be the last match that we do on this stream. So I'm going to pass it over to Doc Vivi, who should be live right about now. And then once we've rated her, I'll probably pop into her stream for one more game. And yeah, that'll be all. Thank you for everyone for coming out. I've been NekoboyBlue. You can follow my Twitch to see when I go live. I do more Nebulous stuff every week. Probably gonna see if I can't get some games in maybe this Friday. I'm not sure what I'm doing Friday yet, so we'll figure that out. Anyways, we're gonna go raid Vivi if she is live right now. Let me see. Twitch, please work with me here. Kind of annoying. Sometimes it doesn't let you raid certain people because it's convinced that they're not live, even though they are. So. Anyways, Vivi is a Catgirl VTuber. She does science stuff, and she also plays Nebulous. So we're gonna go hang out with her in that. Thank you for tuning in. I've been NekoboyBlue. Follow me on Twitch, Twitter, etc. Twitter is where I post my notifications going live and stuff. And yeah, have a good day, chat. Bye.